such a tough place to go.
It's a tough place to go at the moment.
It was a really difficult place to go, always.
But what are the toughest places to go, really? We've scoured the planet to find out. Forget a cold, wet Tuesday night in Stoke. Try playing in a blizzard 220 miles inside the Arctic Circle at the world's northernmost professional club. When Chelsea lost at Tromsø in Norway in the 97-98 Cup Winners' Cup, a massive snowstorm hit at half-time. These two boys and their brooms were absolutely no match for it. We're staying in Scandinavia for Scotland's toughest away day on a windswept cliff in the Faroe Islands. In Euro 2000 qualifying, Craig Brown's men were taken to fishing village Toftir. Kevin Gallagher called the pitch a cowfield and the wind like Pitodry on a bad day. The Faroe Islands part-timers equalised in stoppage time, leading to these absolute scenes, and still one of Scotland's most embarrassing results.
Daft little ground, silly game.
But away trips don't come any tougher than a lung-busting schlep up the Andes to face Bolivia in La Paz. But now the Bolivians have taken home advantage to another level. The country's highest city, El Alto, 4,100 metres above sea level. Grass doesn't even grow up here. Bolivia have not lost here yet. The longest unbeaten run in any professional league ever belongs to Red Star Belgrade, or Crvena Zvezda if you must. They've gone 7 years without defeat at the Rajko Mitic in Serbia's Superliga. Their fans are pretty intimidating as well, but they're not as loud as this mob. Galatasaray's Ali Sami Yen Stadium's officially the loudest in world football. In a derby with Fenerbahce, Galatasaray fans set a Guinness World Record of 131 decibels. That's louder than Motorhead, and pretty tough to carry out your manager's instructions when you can't even hear them. However, our most intimidating away day is in Wales, where cameras can't enter and players can't leave. HMP Prescoed. This prison team was briefly kicked out the Gwent League over concerns about young opposition having to go in there. Now that's a tough place to go.
Early June 1939, Germany, always a tough place to go to.
Good morning, 3 minutes past 6 o'clock, Monday, May the 11th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Buy a used car and get a free 2-year service plan plus an extra £500 when you part exchange. Shop the upgrade event today. I'm Jeff Stelling, and with me through until 10 o'clock this morning is Gabby Agbonlahor. Morning, Gabs.
Morning, Jeff. How are you, mate?
I'm all right, thanks, mate. All right, you?
Yes, all well, can't complain. What a lovely day out there, by the way. You're waking up, sun shining, Jeff. Blue skies, what a way to start work.
Absolutely fantastic.
Stunning.
Of course, if you're a West Ham fan waking up this morning, it is grey and miserable and dreary and, well, you know, life doesn't look quite so bright, does it? By the way, you know what we're going to... I'm sick to death of it. Sick to death of talking about VAR.
You know, the topic all day.
Sick to death. All I say to West Ham fans is, it's not over yet. Don't
100%,
quite give up hope.
Oh, no. No way. Look at the way Newcastle are playing. Listen, Newcastle got a decent draw away to Forest, but if West Ham want to stay up, you go away to Newcastle, you win. You win your last game of the season.
They'll win at Newcastle.
Exactly.
They've got a good record there as well.
Yep. Spurs tonight, you never know. Leeds aren't the sort of team that will take their foot off the gas. They'll be at it tonight. Players want to perform. Players playing for spots in their national teams. I think tonight's going to be a tricky game for Spurs.
I do too. I don't know why, but I look at a Leeds squad and they don't strike me as a squad who will down tools just because they are safe. And then, of course, Spurs go to Chelsea. And I was looking at the record books yesterday. Spurs have won once in 42 visits in all competitions to Chelsea.
And also,
it ain't over.
Exactly. And also, you look at the league table, and obviously you get more money for the higher you stay up. One place is worth probably, I think it might be £1 million. And Leeds, 43 points in 16th place. There's no reason why they can't catch Newcastle in 13th place. Only 3 points in it. 2 games to go. 2 winnable games as well for Leeds.
But at the other end of the table, it is over.
Yes.
It is over.
Yes, it's over.
You know, Burnley and Crystal Palace to come for Arsenal. Yes. They'll win both of those games.
Definitely.
And they will be champions. And unfortunately, you know, the controversy from yesterday, I think it just takes a tiny bit of gloss away from that achievement because they've been over the piece.
Yes.
They've been the best team. You know, and the circumstances of yesterday's victory will mean that people are constantly talking about it, you know, and
it was a strange decision, Jeff, in the sense that like the frustration from a lot of the public, maybe everyone who's not an Arsenal fan, is that Arsenal scored so many goals from exactly that. If you look at a lot of Arsenal's goals from set pieces, there was one in the first game of the season against Manchester United, one against Villa, numerous other ones where they've got in front of the keeper, they pushed the keeper, their arms in the keeper's face. Nothing different from yesterday. That's what people are frustrated with. If that's your decision, why has it not been the same decision all season where Arsenal have benefited the most? And I'm an old school player, Jeff. I look at that and think, I used to do that every game. My job as a striker was corners for in front of the goalkeeper. Do not let him come and get that ball. So the way Wilson took the goal as well, the atmosphere in the stadium, and that point would have put him level with Spurs as well. For me, I don't think that goal should have been taken away from West Ham.
You know what?
People disagree. People will agree.
Of course.
Everyone's got the different opinions.
Well, look, I'll tell you what, the way I see it, Gabby, is yes, it's a foul by Pablo. It's a clear foul by Pablo. But Trossard not looking at the ball, has both arms around to stop attacking that ball. Declan Rice has both rounds around Mavropanos. There's holding elsewhere as well. You know who's caused this mess? The PGMOL have caused this mess. They are ruining our game. They've ignored grappling all season long. They've ignored the rugby tackles. They make pathetic claims of momentary contact in the area. No one knows what is a foul. No one knows right. No one knows what's a foul and what isn't a foul. Chris Kavanagh, I felt for him.
Yep.
He's sent to the screen. He knows the significance of this. He has no idea what to do due to the position he's being put in by the PGMOL.
I felt sorry for him.
I felt sorry for him.
For the pressure on his shoulders at that moment.
How have we allowed this to happen, though, Gabby? How have we allowed the PGMOL to run and ruin our game through interpretations? Apply the law. That's all we want. Apply the law.
Any contact on a goalkeeper is a foul.
Yeah.
If you have that from the start of the season, yesterday everyone's like, you should know the rules, Pablo. You got to stay away from the keeper. You can't go in front of him. But Arsenal have created this mess all season where they've crowded the goalkeeper. They've got their arms in front of the goalkeeper's face. That's the frustration. And if you're a West Ham fan, yes, you have to win your own game, stay in the Premier League. Last weekend, Villa didn't turn up against Spurs. Cost West Ham, you'd say. Last night as well. West Ham, what if they go down by 1 point, Jeff? What if they go down on goal difference?
Look, Pablo had his arm across the goalkeeper. But had he not been being held back by both arms, he might have got to that ball and headed it in before David Raya got anywhere. And there is nobody in the world who knows anything about football who looks at what Declan Rice was doing to Mavropanos and say, in what world is that not a penalty kick? And this is not having a go at Arsenal, by the way, because I feel Arsenal have been the best side all season. I feel they deserve to win the league as well. This is having a go at the people who somehow, the PGMOL, somehow have got themselves in a position where I think they're ruining the game. I saw Darren Cannon match of the day last night. I like him. You know, I mean, he was never a referee. He was an assistant referee. Talking about which was the most significant foul. Who's to say which was the most significant foul, for goodness sake?
You know what should have happened with that goal? Have a quick look at it and say, foul, 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 foul. It's chaos in the box. The goal stands because there's so many fouls going on. Okay, if Pablo fouls the goalkeeper, what about Declan Rice, who rugby tackles Mavropanos? Okay, is it a penalty? Do you know what I mean, Jeff? Because after he punches it, David Raya or flops at it, is that a penalty then? So that's the frustration from a lot of fans, especially West Ham fans, because to take that moment away, what a finish from Callum Wilson as well. Weaker foot, bang, in the back of the net. I don't think there was much in that second half, Jeff. I thought Arsenal were quite poor. I thought West Ham treated it like a cup final. They were putting their bodies on the line. They defended well. Maybe Callum Wilson could have come on the pitch a bit earlier because he's been in great goal-scoring form, but they'll feel very hard done by West Ham.
And then you get people like Billy texting, you two sound sad, Arsenal. Well, I've just said, Billy, I just said, Billy, you know, Arsenal have been the better team all season and they deserve to be champions. What sounded sad? I didn't even have a sad sound in my voice, Billy. Okay, so listen, pal, you know, we're just giving our opinions over what was an incredibly controversial decision.
Jeff, even if it finished a draw, though, I still think Man City dropped points against Bournemouth. I really do in that game. Bournemouth, Iriola's last game of the season. They've got a chance of catching Aston Villa in 5th. They're going to be at it in that game. And Manchester City aren't playing their best football. So Arsenal still would have won the league, even if they drew last night for me.
Yeah. And by the way, Phil's right. Can I say, no one's mentioned the fact that Todibo's trying to hold David Raya. You're right. It's another one of those things that is allowed to go on, all season long. And you know, all the PGMOL have got to do, all referees have got to do to stop this is whenever there's holding in the box, whenever there's grappling, whenever there's rugby tackling, give a penalty.
Exactly.
Give 1, 2, 3. Give 4 penalties in a game. Do it for 2 weeks and it will stop. And it will end it completely.
Stop going over and warning them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I hate as well. You're warning them, you do it, you hold his shirt, it's going to be a penalty. Just let the corner be taken or set piece. Penalty, foul to the goalkeeper, foul to the goalkeeper. Because, like you said, Jeff, Arsenal will win the Premier League, and this is what will be talked about for years. It really will.
I love this. Tim's texted and said, have a little look at a match that it had a referee expert, whether you like his credentials or not. He's never refereed.
Expert, no.
He was, you know, Darren Cann, he was a very good assistant, you know, one of the best in the game. But, you know...
I'm not being funny, Jeff. Like, we've got referees on today's show. Doesn't mean they're right. Because we see when it goes to VAR... and the referees having their decision, they don't get it right all the time. So it's all good saying expert referee. They don't always get it right. It's opinions.
I don't know if you saw it, by the way, but Darren also suggested his solution for this was that next season, no attacking player at corners should be allowed in the 6-yard box.
God.
Oh, my God.
Deary me.
That opens such a can of worms. Then we'll have VAR deciding whether a player was in the box, 6-yard area, or not. I mean, no thank you. Leave the laws of the game exactly as they are. Keep your hands off it. Keep off it. And just apply the law. Do your job. Do what you are paid to do.
I've seen so many goalkeepers do it, though, Jeff, in the sense that they fly over. I've seen Donnarumma, who's probably 6'6". How tough is he? No one's near him. Falls onto the floor. Sanchez. Martinez does it at Villa. He's cost goals this season where no one's touched him and he fell over. Keepers are too protected for me. I remember you could stand in front of the keeper, Jeff, and keepers have got their hands, don't forget. They've got their knees that can knee you in the back and then punch you in the back of the head to get rid of the ball. Now we've gone too soft with the protection for goalkeepers.
Yeah.
Oh, the phone lines are flying.
Look, 037117 223344. Phone lines have gone crazy. Of course they have, even though it's only 6 in the morning. Let's have a quick call from Paul, the West Ham fan. Morning, Paul.
Morning, Paul.
Morning, guys. How you doing?
Yeah, we're good, thanks, mate. So what did you make of it all?
To be honest with you, yesterday's game was just another example of, I listen to you guys every day, and I actually agree with Gabby quite a lot as well when he says about how the game's become so sterile, and when you say the game's become boring now with the VAR and all that. A lot of my mates have lynched me for this opinion, but about 3 months ago, I finally had like the final straw. I can't remember what game it was. It wasn't even a West Ham game, but I just said, honestly, if we go down this year, but it looks like we are going to now, I said, I'll genuinely, hand on my heart, be looking forward to next season in the Championship. It'll be the most I've been looking forward to football in ages, because the game, the Premier League, has become so overcoached, over-refereed. The finances in the game now at the top, the repercussions of getting relegated have become so massive. The teams are just like, you know, the thought of relegation has become bigger than ever before. So I'm looking forward to a season where if we score a goal, I can cheer, I can watch the game, enjoy the game, and, you know, okay, we'll be playing Lincoln, we'll be playing, you know, Wrexham and that, but I just want to enjoy the actual game. I know the financial repercussions will be terrible for our club, and people will say I'm an idiot for saying I'm glad we're getting relegated, but I've just absolutely had enough of the Premier League. I'm up to the eyeballs, I'm sick of VAR. The most I've enjoyed football this year, funny enough, is watching some of the European football. We've watched a bit of Bundesliga, watched the Liga. Obviously, they've got VAR there, but the players there are still expressing themselves a lot more as well. So every Premier League game is just now exactly the same. Play out from the back. Oh, we've got a turnover a play. Let's overload. All the expressions now. Low blocks. Can't play through it. And all that rubbish. The game has just become so sterile that, to be honest with you, yesterday was just another example of how boring it's become. Even that was my team playing. The VAR decision was ridiculous anyway. It's just another example of if they take us 5 minutes to make a decision, they don't possibly know whether it's a goal or not a goal. They're just trying to find something in there to justify the VAR.
Paul, thank you so much for that. Paul, disillusioned West Ham fan. I'm interested in what he said there, because he was talking about the EFL. The EFL rejected the chance to have VAR a few weeks ago. Is there any EFL fan out there who would welcome VAR in the game from the Championship down over? I'd love to hear from you if there are. 03717223344.
Yeah, but you see, there's no VAR last night in the game. No one today is going to be saying that's a joke. That shouldn't have been given as a goal. Listen, his arms up. It happens. There's fouls everywhere. Okay, it was chaos. It's the last minute. Keeper's got to be stronger. You got your hands. Come and punch that ball. So I think it was a ridiculous decision.
Look, millions of you, so many of you got the views. I'll try and read some of them out during the course of the morning. Remember, you can find out whether West Ham's gap to Spurs will increase, because Spurs host Leeds tonight at 8 o'clock. It's a game I'm really looking forward to. It's live and exclusive on talkSPORT. Coming up, we'll turn our attention to the back pages. Guess what's...
Real Madrid striker Kylian Mbappe, who has faced criticism from his own fans after taking a trip to Italy on a mega yacht with his partner. He's recovering from a hamstring injury he suffered on April the 24th and was given some days off last week. He arrived back in Madrid on Sunday, shortly before kickoff, when Madrid played away against Espanyol. Many fans thought Mbappe should not have taken a break and should have stuck with the team, going through a difficult time at this particular time. Alvaro Arbeloa said, well, in their free time, each player does what they see fit, and I don't get involved with that. Mbappe's representative said part of the criticism was based on an over-interpretation of elements related to a recovery period, strictly supervised by the club, without reflecting the reality of Kylian's commitment and the work that he puts in every day for the team. So that was Mbappe and Real Madrid. But then there's Liverpool. What was going on with them? Danny's old club. Liverpool captain Virgil van Dijk had to defend some of his teammates who were criticised for being abroad last week on a day off as they headed into the Manchester United game, a game they ultimately lost by 3-2. It was put to Van Dijk that some of his teammates had gone on holiday last week. He says, I'm not sure it was a holiday, it was a city trip. But I think if you're one day off and you don't have many days off, then you decide what you want to do with your family. We're not kids. Everyone's an adult. I wish we had a couple more days off at times, because I think it works both ways.
Good morning. This is talkSPORT Breakfast 6:21. I'm Jeff Stelling Gabby Agbonlahor is with me right through till 10 o'clock. Alan from Hamilton, by the way, is a Celtic fan. So where's Ali this morning? Has anyone seen him? Is he okay? We'll talk about Celtic.
Terrible Celtic.
Yeah, we'll talk about Celtic and Rangers a bit later.
Yes.
I enjoyed the game. I thought it was a decent game.
Definitely, yep.
Decent game of football.
Yep.
But again, it does make me smile at people saying, title's in Celtic's hands now. Well, no more is in Hearts' hands, to be brutally honest.
Yeah, but let's not forget Celtic got Motherwell away
That's
on
a
Wednesday
massive
night.
game.
Tough game.
Hearts have got Falkirk at home. We should expect them to win.
Yes, pressure on Celtic still.
Yeah, but it's going to go out the wire, which is absolutely brilliant. Look, phone line's gone crazy this morning. Everyone wants to give their thoughts on this decision. Let's hear from Robert, who's an Arsenal fan. Morning, Robert.
Morning, Robert.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, go on then, Robert. What did you make of it all?
How are you? Well, they both played 36 league games so far. Why is West Ham in this position? It's not only about the one decision yesterday. They've had 35 games to get themselves up the table. At the end of the day, the West Ham fans have got to realise they're not good enough.
Well, it's you look at the table. I'm sorry, Robert. I mean, we know they've had 36 games to get themselves up the table. That's not what we're talking about. Everybody knows they've not been good enough this season. Every West Ham fan will tell you the same thing. They've not been good enough this season. We're talking about one specific incident and whether it cost them a point or not.
Well, they can't just rely on one incident. Arsenal had hundreds of incidents not given to them, and they just got on with their football.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Robert.
April Fools.
Yeah. Hey, look,
oh, Lord.
I don't know what to say to that. It's time at 6:24 for a quick coffee break and a look at the back pages with Costa Express.
The Costa Coffee Break on talkSPORT, sponsored by Costa Express. Quality coffee, quality day.
And Olivia Bazaglo is with us.
Good morning, Olivia. We missed you.
Good morning, Gabby. Talking of coffees, Gabby. I'm the person you'd least like to go for a coffee with out of every single person you work at talkSPORT.
You know what?
Do you regret saying that?
No, you know what? When I get asked this question, I always choose Simon Jordan.
So you'd rather go for a coffee with Martin Keown over me?
No, of course not.
Well, then why did you say me?
I knew you'd take it well.
Yeah, clearly.
Martin would probably end up telling me that I'm not at the top of my game, like I said to Andy Goldstein.
Can't have a joke at someone else's.
I knew you'd take it well, Olivia.
Okay. Anyway, let's move on, shall we? And carry on this Arsenal chat. Back page of the Mirror, title in sight with Leandro Trossard doing his little celebration. Title holders, the back page of the Sun. One hand on the trophy, the back page of the Star, and VAR and away, the back page of the Express. Now, this whole situation is just a bit of a mess. I know what you've been saying, Gabby and Jeff. You've been saying there's obviously so many fouls going on, and Gabby, they haven't been given these all season. So why now? So how do we change this? What do the PGMOL or the Premier League have to do for next season to avoid situations like this?
Apply the laws. Apply the laws of the game. Apply the laws of the game that say a foul from the likes of Declan Rice within the box is a penalty, and start giving. Let's take that. Let's move away from the incident and just say any grappling in the box, any rugby tackling in the box, at set plays is a penalty kick. Give the penalty kick. Apply the law. It will stop all this nonsense. Jamie Redknapp got it right yesterday when he said it's like the Super Bowl in there.
Yeah, and what about fouls on goalkeepers? Then you're saying every touch on a goalkeeper has to be a foul.
But I would make it clear. It's like the handball isn't clear. I'd say any contact with the goalkeeper is a foul to the goalkeeper. Then how many goals would Arsenal this season not have had? That's the problem. When you've let teams get away with it all season, then in a massive game, the biggest moment of the Premier League season, you say foul on the goalkeeper. That's the problem I've got with it.
You can't say no contact with. Look,
it's a contact
this is
sport.
a contact sport.
Doesn't look like it.
David Raya was, in my opinion, fouled yesterday, but maybe there were reasons for it. My ire, if you like, is not with Arsenal and their players what was going on. It's not with the referee, it's with the PGMOL after their interpretation of the rule. We don't want an interpretation, we want application of the rules. I've got a text here from Murphy, Northamptonshire, that says, we can all agree the PGMOL is ruining football, and few teams have been wronged as much as Arsenal over the past few seasons with dubious red cards. And you might be right with that, Murph, but one thing I would agree with, the PGMOL is ruining football, ruining people's love of the game.
Jeff, is that like, what is a foul on the goalkeeper? Every referee, every VAR official will have a different idea of what's a foul. You could be a goalkeeper and I just lean back at you. That's a foul. You can't do that. You can't do that. Another referee will say, that's light. That's the problem. No one knows what the rule is.
But Shay Given said last night, you know, a goalkeeper, when he's coming to the ball, is going to expect contact. He's got to expect physical contact. Now, for me, in that case, you know, there was too much physical contact. But there will be instances, no question about it, where there's physical contact involving a goalkeeper, or it's not a foul. But, you know.
And I think Arsenal fans think that everyone saying that it's not a foul is against them. No one's saying that. It's not about Arsenal fans. And it's actually not even about, Jeff, like you're saying, it's not about the foul on Raya itself, because everyone looking at that can probably agree that that is a foul on the goalkeeper. It's like Gabby says, the fact that it's been happening all season. They haven't, in previous seasons, right, goalkeepers have been protected. And that goal probably would have been disallowed because of the foul on David Raya. But the point is, it hasn't been given all season. And they've obviously now chosen that game that has basically now given Arsenal the title, that's relegated West Ham. Not that should come into it, because like we say, plenty has happened this season. It's not just season defining. But the fact that the season, it does feel like, has been decided with a 5-minute video of a referee looking at a screen trying to find something to rule the goal out for.
Why do you think everyone has been copying each other with the throw-ins into the box? Get in front of the keeper, nudge the keeper, foul the keeper, because it's been play on, everyone's doing it. Then so it's a big moment in the Premier League's
need to be stronger. Goalkeepers need to be stronger.
Exactly. Then it's like, no, that's a foul. Listen, some people will say it's a foul, maybe because I'm an old school player. Maybe old school players will say exact same as me that have been in that situation. I think that overprotected goalkeepers, and that's every goalkeeper in the Premier League.
Yeah, I tend
quite soft.
Yeah,
I agree. But Lewis has said, the PGMOL said they had to give the foul on Ray because it was the first foul. But it wasn't the first foul. I don't think that's what they did say. In actual, I don't think they did say that. Darren Cameron said it was the most significant foul.
Wow.
Who decides what is the most significant foul, Darren?
Declan Rice's two arms around the waist
tackle.
of Mavropanos.
Yeah.
That's also, Gabriel, there's a shirt pull as well on. Gabriel's on his knees and he's pulling Pablo's shirt. There's a million fouls going on. I personally don't see how you can give one.
No, and the reason there's a million fouls going on is down to the PGMOL allowing that to happen all season long. And it's got to this state, an absolute shambles. Now, one of their members, Chris Kavanagh, is put in the spotlight and put in an absolutely impossible, invidious position.
Toss the coin.
Yeah, absolutely.
Basically, yeah.
He's standing there for 5. He's standing there for 5 minutes, and I'm sure going through Chris's head is,
what do I do?
What do I do here? What do I do here?
I made the wrong decision.
Yeah. I know, and I felt for him. Olivia, thank you very much indeed.
I'm going home now. And straight back to
you. Want to get a coffee?
Yeah. Shut up. No. Jeff, you get a coffee with you.
Have a lovely morning.
Thank you.
And that was thanks to our friends at Costa Express. Coming up, we'll turn our attention to the race for Europe in the Premier League, whether Gabby is nervous. I know he is, actually, ahead of the run-in for Villa.
The Costa Coffee Break on talkSPORT, sponsored by Costa Express. Quality coffee, quality day.
I'm going to go Friday after work pint, number 5, mate.
Number 5.
There he is. So do you want it? You ready?
Yeah, go on.
In number 5.
Number 5.
Friday after work pint. You've worked hard all week. You know, you want to go there, just have that first pint. You've earned it.
Number 4.
Beer garden pint. This can happen any time of day.
Good pint.
Any time, any day of the week. Yeah. Saturday afternoon, meet the lads. Sunday afternoon.
Good pint.
Right, sun's got to be
Number 3.
Football pint. The football pint's in. You meet your lads, meeting up Saturday afternoon or Sunday, whatever it is. First pint, in you go. Hey, we're going to get a beer again.
Yeah.
Number 2.
The holiday pint. Mr. O'Hara wants that one. Yeah. When you get there, you've done the journey. You've gone through everything you need to do. Passport, security checks, the journey. You get out, you smell, you feel a bit grubby. Don't care. You get on wherever you get to then you get to your destination. Bags get dropped. Sit there. You've earned this pint.
Yeah, it's a good pint.
Good pint.
That's my favourite.
There you go.
Number 1.
Yeah.
Airport. It's the only one, mate. Airport pint. It's the only one. You're there. It doesn't matter what time. Not with lads. No. Doesn't matter who you're with. If you're with me, 5 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, 3, whatever it is, that's the point.
Do you know what's disappointing in this whole, ranking that we've done?
Have I missed something?
Yeah, well, your missus. There's not one pint that involves your missus. Not one.
I'm at the
Where's
airport.
Hannah in this?
I'm at the airport with her.
No, you're not. You're not at the airport with her. You're with Razor Ruddock.
No, hold on. Hold on.
No,
hold on.
Hannah's involved in none of these pints.
No, hold on. I'm at the airport with her, definitely. I'm definitely with a holiday pint. I'm definitely with a football. I'm definitely not.
Over the last few years, Formula One has gone from elitist and insular to a global entertainment brand. The transformation's down to American investment group Liberty Media, who cultivated a new image for the sport since buying it in 2016. Better access to drivers, improved content on social media, and tapping into the US market have given F1 a massive boost in both attention and revenues. But is everyone happy? The fans certainly are, as evidenced by Drive to Survive. Almost 7 million people per season have tuned in to get all the gossip and all the drama from the paddock. The extra exposure means the drivers can demand a higher salary too. In 2010, the top drivers were earning $20 million a year, which isn't bad. But now, the very best earn 3 times that, with Max Verstappen getting a whopping $65 million in 2025. But money doesn't always buy happiness. Some drivers, including Verstappen, don't like the pageantry the changes have brought about. In Las Vegas in 2023, Verstappen said the drivers were made to look like clowns, and the event was 99% performance and 1% race. Some purists who still watch the sport feel the same, and that the spirit of competition has suffered. But Formula One and Liberty Media don't look like slowing down anytime soon. So expect more races, major events and exclusive access in future.
Oh, very good morning. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. It's the perfect time to upgrade your car. Get 2 years free servicing when you buy a used car in the upgrade event. Check it out online. I'm Jeff Stelling Gabby Agbonlahor is with me now. Fancy 25 grand in your hand, completely tax-free. Get your entry in now. This is what you need to do. For your chance to win, head to talksportwin.com. That's all one word, talksportwin.com. Or text WIN to 83338. Text and online entries cost £2.50 plus your standard network rate. Or you can call 0343 418 7260. Entries must be in by the 18th of May 2026 at 4 p.m. That's when you need to answer your phone if it rings. 18 plus, UK residents only. This is a network promotion. Full T's and C's at talksportwin.com. So your chance to win, text the word WIN to 83338 and do it now. Mike from Cheltenham says, hi Jeff, for VAR, no thanks. What a complete joke it is, ruining our beautiful game. I love my real football in lowly League 2 and I'm a season ticket holder at my team, Cheltenham Town. Leave us alone. It's a big no to VAR. Everything's fine, even with bad referees. Right, well, drama at top and bottom of the Premier League table. We can't forget everything in between, including a small matter of a proper battle for European places.
For Bournemouth, this is a huge win in the race for Europe.
Burnley 2, Aston Villa 2, and it's come from Zian Fleming.
And in the end, they only take a point, but not the points that they needed to secure Champions League football. The wait goes on before that is confirmed. It's finished at Anfield. Liverpool 1, Chelsea 1.
This team has shown throughout the last 2 years that when they're at their best, they can compete with anyone.
It ends Crystal Palace 2, Everton 2.
I don't know if we'll make Europe. Let's be fair, we've been a challenger, not over, so we have to see if we can still finish it strong.
Brighton 3, Wolves 0. Yankuba Minter is the goal scorer.
Just maybe we could see Champions League football at the Vitality next season.
Could there be Champions League football at the Vitality next season?
100%.
I'm going to move on to that. How are you feeling about Villa at the moment, Gabby?
They're not performing in the Premier League, Jeff. Even on the weekend, defensively very poor. Whenever he makes changes and some of the fringe players come in, they don't perform. I thought Tyrone Mings was poor on the weekend. Martin was poor. And it's frustrating for the manager because Aston Villa now play on Friday against Liverpool at home. Then they play the cup final on next Wednesday. Then Manchester City afterwards on the Sunday. So now, if he'd won against Burnley, might have had the luxury to rest players against Liverpool. Now he's got to go strong because if Aston Villa lose their last 2 games, Bournemouth only need 4 points because they have a better goal difference than us. Brighton, if they win their 2 games, they will get 5th place above Bournemouth if they only get 4 points. So there's a lot to play for Bournemouth and Brighton, and Aston Villa and Liverpool both still probably need 1 more win, Jeff.
Yeah. Edgy times, nervous times if you're a Villa fan or a Liverpool fan for that matter as well. We'll discuss them a bit later. But what a season it's been as far as Bournemouth are concerned as well. That win the weekend. Look, I mean, 6th at the moment. That could be enough for a Champions League place. But they can, as we just mentioned there, they can catch Villa or Liverpool. 4 points clear and, of course, play each other as well. So what Champions League football feel like for a club like Bournemouth? It's a very good morning to a man who played over 200 times for them. It's Charlie Daniels. Morning, Charlie.
Morning, Charlie.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Gabby. You okay?
Yeah, good. It just seems crazy, doesn't it? We're talking about Bournemouth finishing in the Champions League spots. I mean, what would it mean to a club like Bournemouth?
I think it'd be everything. You know, it's from where it was not too distant ago. You know, in League Two, coming up with minus 17 points to how they've progressed and how they've grown from season to season, and just got better and better. And the investment that's been put into the club, and then Bill Foley taking over, and you know his ambition for the club, said he was going to get into Europe within 5 years, and you know with everything that's going on, it looks like he's going to keep his promise.
Charlie, I've been following Bournemouth all season. Fantastic run football club. It just seems strange to me with the Iriola leaving. You know, he could lead this football club with them playing Champions League football next season. Seems like such an odd decision.
I think it's a personal decision more than anything. I don't think it's I don't think it's anything to do with the club or anything. But I think it's a personal decision. I know he's obviously looking probably more to his family and where he wants to go. And Maysfield, I mean, he's done such a fantastic job, and with the new manager coming in, Rose, at the end of the season, what an opportunity for him to take over. So wherever Andoni goes, I hope that he's got the freedom to implement his style on the football club.
Yeah, I mean, he has absolutely been phenomenal, as have Bournemouth. Just to, to take the alternate view, Charlie, would Champions League football in the long term be good for Bournemouth? Because we've seen time and again clubs with bigger assets, bigger squads, not be able to cope with European football and the challenge of the Premier League.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think we should just, if it does happen, I think celebrate how well they've done and how far they've gone to get into, if it's Champions League football or Europa League football. It's such an astounding feat for Bournemouth, and the revenue that it's going to bring in is going to make the club again progress onto another level. So they've obviously done all the training ground, so that's new, that's state of the art. They're looking to improve the stadium, which again will bring in more revenue. And I think the small steps that they keep doing, they're just going to get better and better.
I think as well, Charlie, people forget that the players that they've had to sell, Kirkes, Howson, Semenyo, the money that they brought in those players. But then they go again, don't they? They bring in the likes of Ryan, very good player, Triffier, the left back. But I was looking at the bench on the weekend. Kluivert's back now, got Tyler Adams, Brooks, Unal, Ben Gannon, Doak and Diakite. If they can keep hold of everyone and then bring in some more quality players in the summer, why can't they? Why can't they get out of the group stage of the Champions League? I know we're looking far ahead, but they've got a very good squad of players, haven't they?
They have, and I know you're just talking about Villa there and the fringe players coming in and not making a difference. But if you look at how many players Andoni has actually used, and he actually said that everyone is ready to play, and when he does leave players out. So it just shows the how good the depth of the squad is. And if you look at the recruitment, I mean, a lot of clubs could take advice from Bournemouth in terms of losing players and then reinvesting it in younger, better players who then develop, and then we're going to sell them again. So if you look at, say, Kirkes, who we sold to Liverpool, and then bringing in Truffaut, losing Huijsen, and then we're bringing in and Zabani last year, and you look at the centre-back partnership we have now, it's such a good process that they go through, and there's no surprise why they keep getting better and better.
Charlie, just a quick one. Do you want to see Alex Scott in the England squad?
Yeah, I think you do. I think he's played so well this season, and he's showed it not only he's showed it every single game this season, how well he is and how good he is, and also in the under-21s last year when they won. So I think he deserves a chance. Hopefully Tuchel will give him that chance, and it's just another lovely milestone for Bournemouth.
Charlie, thank you very much indeed, pal.
Mate.
Cheers, lads. Have a great day.
Top man,
thank you. You too. Former Bournemouth left back Charlie Daniels.
Be amazing for them, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be amazing.
What a place as well.
And wouldn't it be amazing if Alex Scott did make that World Cup squad as well? I'll tell you what, Charlie's right. I mean, every time I've seen him, of course, I don't see it, the way that Charlie does or even you do. Yeah. But every week in, week out, he performs. He's had a brilliant season.
That Bournemouth versus Man City game, they're going to put the kitchen sink against Man City. You're going to look at the game and think,
Iraiola's last home game.
We're in a game here. You got Champions League football that could be yours. With Brighton could win their two last games, so it's going to be a hell of a game.
It certainly will be, mate. Still to come on breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Manage your Travis Perkins trade account online at travisperkins.co.uk or via the Travis Perkins app.
We'll be putting a magnifying glass into that huge decision on yesterday's game at the London Stadium with former Premier League referee Chris Foy. And was that the game that all but secured the Gunners Premier League title? Yes, it did. Just for all of you, by the way, Gunners fans who claim that talkSPORT hates Arsenal.
Wow.
We'll be hearing from the voice of Arsenal, Piers Morgan, to find out how he's been celebrating. That was our breakfast preview with Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Get free next day track delivery. Head to travisperkins.co.uk or download the app.
Jason Cunny was alongside Jeremy O'Hara on the Sports Bar after the game. He said he can see Arsenal shutting PSG down in the final.
Teta will not allow a basketball match. He won't. He won't.
Was it going to be tactically defence then?
No, it won't be tactically defence, but I think that Arsenal, they're measured. Arsenal control games. They don't. Now, Arsenal are brilliant at doing that. They can be at times dull to watch because of that, but in a one-off game, who cares? I think Luis Enrique would probably want it being more open affair. I don't think Arteta will allow it.
Not the game we were expecting last night. You pointed out there, I said over 4.5 goals. I did think they're a bit well done to PSG and Luis Enrique for shutting out the game.
Yeah.
I mean, that proved there's another side to them, right?
Yeah, they can dig in when they need to. I mean, it helps they've got wonderful footballers. And I guess when you get a goal so early after 3 minutes with that attacking front line, it doesn't make the job easier. But when you've got the pace of Kvaratskhelia and Dembele, Doué can run, you've got Vitinha in the middle of the park, it does help the fact that you can just sit in there and defend because it's counter-attack. No one's catching you. You're being behind them. So, yeah, it's gonna be fascinating now to see what happens in the final. PSG was probably the team I didn't want. I'd prefer Bayern. But now it's PSG. You've got to go out there and put a performance in. It's going to be difficult. And I've said it before. I think Arsenal, to win this fixture, potentially may have to be perfect in terms of they may have to put in the best performance they've ever put in under Mikel Arteta in any competition.
Is that the only way you can see Arsenal winning, by playing the best they've ever played?
I think they have to think defensively. They have to be rock solid.
No, they are pretty much like that anyway.
Yeah, but there's still times you give it that. If you give that sort of.
Good morning, 6:50. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling and Gabby Agbonlahor. Simon in Bournemouth says, the Continental Cherries look destined for European football. Champions League feels unrealistic. But imagine Real Madrid or Bayern Munich playing at their tiny stadium. And next season, it'll be 8,000 to 9,000 capacity too, as I think the new stand gets built this summer, which will reduce capacity even further temporarily.
It shouldn't be unrealistic where they are in the season with 2 games to go. And also, look at this season, Jeff.
Yeah.
The team in French League, Brest. Their stadium, very small. So Bournemouth shouldn't look at that at all. They should look at, let's enjoy if it's Champions League or even if it's Europa League at worst.
Yeah. Simon, thank you very much for that. 03717223344. Back to the phone lines. Swamped by comments about the West Ham Arsenal game yesterday. My apologies if I don't read all the texts out, but there are literally thousands and thousands of them. Let's hear from Glenn, who's a West Ham fan. Morning, Glenn.
Morning, Glenn.
Yeah, good morning, gents. On last night, if that foul happened anywhere up the pitch, saw that incident happen anywhere up the pitch, that would be a foul and a free kick given. I totally support what you two guys are both saying, that if you kept down on this and gave a penalty every time, or a free kick every time, it would soon stop. Give it 2 weeks. That'd be totally ruled out of the game. I mean, the foul happened on Mavropanos before that. Before the incident happened with the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Declan Rice pulled him into the net.
I just think, Glenn, we don't know what's a foul. There was an incident in the Aston Villa game during the week where Morato headbutts Ollie Watkins, misses the ball, and it's no penalty. Do you know what I mean? And everyone else is saying that should be a penalty. But VAR, the referee don't think it is. That's the problem. Everyone's decision is different.
Yeah. We do know what fouls are, Gabby. We do know what fouls are, but the PGMOL have made us doubt ourselves with their interpretations.
Yes.
Glenn, thank you very much.
Thank you, Glenn.
Indeed, mate. Got a comment again. Said, I fully agree with you regards VAR. It's totally spoiled the sport I love. I'm fed up with the time taken over every minor issue. And for once, I agree with Gabby. If it takes time to get a decision, then leave it as the referee's decision after the initial viewing of that. Okay, time now to take a look at the latest EFL action in partnership with McDonald's.
EFLers on talkSPORT with McDonald's. Got big McDonald's hunger? Order delivery on the McDonald's app today. From 11 a.m, 18 plus. Fees apply to delivery orders. Subject to availability. Price may vary.
Yeah, well, it's all about the playoffs, isn't it? At the moment.
Nil.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah, 0-0, but hey, no VAR. And by the way, not much diving and not much screaming when you've barely been touched.
It's everyone,
isn't it? You know who I'm talking about yesterday as well. The yelp from Calafiore was audible absolutely everywhere. 2 seconds later, he's on his feet racing back. You know?
They all do it, Jeff. What I've noticed, though, now, referees are better at that, though. They're literally like, play on, not falling for the screams and the rolling around.
Yeah.
Every player does it.
Well, look, in the playoffs, it wasn't a spectacular start, was it? Well, actually, I'll tell you what, it was at the Riverside. Yes. First half, Middlesbrough, 17 shots on the Southampton goal. Southampton, none, not one. The second half was very different. Borough had sort of blown themselves out in that first half, and Southampton could easily have won it. Now, look, I didn't see the game, but I had spies there. I mean, there's a lot of furore about this, isn't there? I mean, Mark, as Borough fan, says, what's your take on Spygate? Should Southampton be kicked out of the playoffs? No, Mark. No, they shouldn't, you know? I mean...
What are you going to learn, though, Jeff? We spoke about this on Friday. What are you going to learn, Southampton, from Middlesbrough, what their set pieces are? Have you not watched them all season?
Yeah.
Have you not got the videos of their games?
Yeah.
Very odd behaviour.
Yeah, I know. Look, I tell you what, Hull 0 Millwall, even a spy would have closed his eyes. Oh, my goodness. It was purgatory with a capital P. The second leg is tonight. Please, God, let it be better than that first leg.
Massive game for both teams.
Oh, massive.
I mean, Millwall. Look at Millwall, though. Looking at West Ham struggling.
I know.
Could swap positions in the leagues.
But, look, I get that it's a big occasion. Players are edgy and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. Watching Hull against Millwall made me fear what would happen to either of them if they did.
The Premier League, yeah.
Stockport's Ben Osborne scored a Keystone Cops winner at Stevenage, 94th minute. No one was laughing on the home side. 3 defenders and the goalkeeper, don't know if you've seen this, they just all stood and watched, saying, after you, Claude. And Osborne just slipped in and toe poked
Tapped it in there, yeah.
It was incredible. Bolton Edge Bradford 1-0. Amari Koza Dewberry's second half goal. It was a lovely strike as well. League 2, Salford went to Grimsby and they won. By the way, there was another incident in this. Was the keeper affected by an offside player debate when Salford scored their second goal? The assistant's got a lot of stick there. You know, the assistant can't call that because the assistant can't see whether he's directly
in line isn't it, for them to
with
see.
The goalkeeper or not. But I do get the complaints from Grimsby fans. The Notts County beat Chesterfield by a goal to nil. Was the National League playoff final yesterday. We're going to talk about it a bit later on. So all I'll say is congratulations to Rochdale.
Yes.
Commiserations to Boreham Wood. Rochdale are going to be in League 2 next season. Boreham Wood are going to be in the National League again. It means that Hartlepool next season are going to be going to Boreham Wood, Wealdstone, Sutton and Hornchurch. Get a season ticket on the railway from the northeast down to London, boys.
Big pressure on Rochdale, though, for that game, Jeff. After what happened against York.
Massive pressure, you know, and we'll talk about that later, 106 points and all that. Just even further down the ladder, by the way, promotion for Kidderminster, they missed out marginally last season. They won 2-0 at South Shield, so they're promoted to the National League. And heartbreak for Torquay. Now, they played Hornchurch, okay?
Yes.
Torquay led until the 92nd. They were a long-time Football League side as well, Torquay. They led until the 92nd minute away at Hornchurch when the home side equalised. That took the game to extra time. Hornchurch scored in the 117th minute to win it. It was the first time they'll ever have been as high as the National League under Darryl McMahon's good manager as well, down at that level. Look, they play in an athletic stadium, a proper athletic stadium. The crowds are rarely over 1,000. In fact, they got 320 for a home game against Telford this season, and that didn't include Usain Bolt, who was warming up on the next door either. But you know what? They finished in second place in the regular season. They finished a point above Torquay. And whilst we might look at sides and say they've got big history, I guess on merit, you know, grounds don't seem to be taken into consideration. Yes. So, you know, they've gone up to the National League for the first time. And commiserations to Torquay. Congratulations to Hornchurch, and we will see you next season. Okay. Don't forget, by the way, every playoff game is live and exclusive on the talkSPORT network, including Millwall against Hull tonight on talkSPORT 2. That was thanks to McDonald's. Coming up, we'll turn our attention back to Arsenal and celebrate Trossard's goal as one the fans will remember forever.
Yeah, fellas, on talkSPORT with McDonald's. Got big McDonald's hunger? Order delivery on the McDonald's app today. From 11 a.m, 18 plus, fees apply to delivery orders, subject to availability.
Let me apologise immediately if there's any smugness or glee from my co-host today. But you are used to Alex Crook by now. But Gabby Agbonlahor is also very happy. Put your cigar down. Great performance. Yeah. Well done. Congratulations.
Very much, thank you.
Do you reckon you could manage to be just a little bit humble because, you know, you haven't won anything yet?
Yeah, we haven't won anything yet, but, you know, Nottingham Forest fans, last Friday, the messages you were reading out, Sam, the callers, the direct messages on every possible social media platform I was getting, celebrating the fireworks. They had a concert after the game, only to get thumped on probably the most one-sided semi-final second leg you will ever see. Thumped. Couldn't get out of their own half. Light work for Aston Villa. Who's next?
I heard you having a go at the Arsenal fans this week, and Arsenal for having fireworks after they'd got through to the final in Budapest. I noticed, and I had pointed it out to you at least 3 times this week, that Villa have fireworks before every game, and they had fireworks before the semi-final last night.
Fireworks, mate. They're like sparklers that you have on your champagne when you're in a nightclub.
Might be on your champagne.
Yeah, they weren't fireworks. They're like little ones. What did the manager do after the game?
I don't know.
Emery?
It was definitely.
He clapped the fans for about 3 seconds and walked down the tunnel.
Okay, well, it was
Mikel
a champagne
Arteta
performance, wasn't it?
Was doing the Haymack Arena around the stadium. They're doing a tour of the stadium. You know,
he's quite used to getting to Europa League finals, so that's probably.
Aguero, Solskjaer, Deeney, Watkins. Sure, you know all about those last-minute goals, but have you heard the one about the on-loan goalkeeper who saved his temporary employers from disappearing out the Football League and into almost certain financial oblivion? Back in 1999, Carlisle United, managed by Nigel Pearson, were fighting to stay in the Football League. Carlisle's finances were precarious with a capital P that season, leading to a scenario where, with 3 games to go, they had to ask the FA to sanction an emergency loan deal to bring in a goalkeeper. Swindon Town's Jimmy Glass arrived at the club. His efforts in his first 2 games earned the Cumbrians 2 draws. Those vital points meant that Carlisle went into their final game of the Division 3 season, now League 2, needing to beat mid-table Plymouth Argyle in front of their own fans and hope their relegation rival Scarborough didn't win against Peterborough at home. The game at the McCain Stadium finished 1-1, and with the same scoreline at Brunton Park deep into injury time, Scarborough's fans invaded the pitch en masse, believing their Football League status was secure, convinced they'd done enough to stay up. However, there'd be one more plot twist. Carlisle won a corner in the dying seconds and up came Jimmy Glass. In one of those you couldn't make it up moments, Glass scored from a rebounded header and was promptly swamped by teammates and thousands of fans who quite simply couldn't believe what they'd just witnessed. As for Jimmy Glass, he became an overnight celebrity, but he never played for Carlisle again, and his playing career never really kicked on after that defining moment. He took on various jobs outside of football before finding his way back into the sport as player liaison officer at Eddie Howe's Bournemouth, and most recently the general manager at non-league Wimborne. Not the fairy tale ending to one of the most Hollywood moments in football, but the name Jimmy Glass will live on forever as the scorer of that goal, arguably the most important in any club's history.
Good morning, it's 7:05. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Donald Clark. Shop the upgrade event today. Get an extra £500 when you part exchange your car. Don't miss your chance to boost your valuation. I'm Jeff Stelling Gabby Agbonlahor is with me on the way for you this morning. Former ref Chris Foy will give his perspective on that decision to disallow West Ham's equaliser against Arsenal. 03717 223344. Keep your calls coming in on that huge talking point throughout the show. Plus, we'll get stuck into the booing of Arnie Slot at Anfield on Saturday. Dazen Maeder's fantastic Old Firm strike for Celtic. Wow, what a goal it was. Daniel Dubois' stoppage of a bloodied Fabio Wardley, and Spurs against Leeds, which is live and exclusive on talkSPORT tonight. But now, are the Gunners over their biggest hurdle?
83 minutes on the clock. West Ham 0, Arsenal 1. They need a moment like Vincent Kompany against Leicester City. That moment's been provided by Martin Ødegaard. It's over the line. West Ham have equalised. Callum Wilson. And in stoppage time, it is West Ham 1, Arsenal 1. VAR are checking a possible handball. Was David Raya held back here? There was holding inside the penalty area. There was a push on David Raya. Was he impeded? As Pablo is the offender, according to Chris Kavanagh. He was called over to the screen by Darren England.
I think the amount you have to look at it, right, it's not clearing over us.
But I do think, actually, you can justify the decision. It finishes here, West Ham 0, Arsenal 1.
So let's bring in somebody now who's at the London Stadium for talkSPORT yesterday, two-time league champion with Arsenal, Perry Groves. Morning to you, Perry.
Morning, Perry.
Morning, boys. Gabby, I hope you didn't celebrate on Thursday night when Aston Villa went through to the Europa League final. I hope you just that politely and said, "Well played, you villains. That was a very good game."
You know what?
Let's look forward to the final.
I just looked at our manager who just walked straight down the tunnel, little clap to the fans, get into the change room, watch a bit of Freiburg game. That's what I like from a manager.
So the players didn't celebrate then, Gabby, no?
Not. It wasn't a concert at Villa Park after the game.
Gabby had a day off, mate. That's what football's all about.
So Perry, look, Perry, is that it? Is it done and dusted now?
It's not done and dusted. Obviously, there's 2 games to go with Burnley at home and Palace away. But let's be honest. That was I think the defining game of Arsenal's Premier League season yesterday. And you said there, Jeff, I was lucky enough to be at the London Stadium of talkSPORT, and it was absolutely electric. The atmosphere was unreal. The West Ham fans got behind their team. West Ham, obviously, are scrapping for their lives at the bottom of the Premier League. So it was never, ever, ever going to be a straightforward game.
When you look at the incident that everyone's going to be talking about today, what are your thoughts on it? Do you think it was a foul or not?
At first, I must admit, everybody knows it's well documented. I can't stand VAR. I think it's a joy sucker taking the life out of games. And we looked at it. I think it took about 4 minutes, didn't it? 4.5 minutes. And at first, you're going, nah, it's just a load of grappling going on. Then you dissect it. CSI, Stockley Park, obviously get involved. But then when it was eventually disallowed, then we saw an angle of Pablo's arm going across David Raya's chest. And then, obviously, you had the pull of Todibo on his shirt as well. So you would say, in the end, they come to the right decision. But I must admit, I think if it wasn't disallowed, I don't think there'd have been an absolute sort of uproar. I don't think that, there'd have been...
So Perry, you didn't see Trossard with both of his arms around West Ham player, and you didn't see Declan Rice try to pull Kostas Mavropanos to the ground. But anyway, look, I'm going to talk about that a lot.
Jeff, they explained it, Jeff. That was after.
No, it wasn't after. No, Perry, it was not after. That was at the same time. That was at exactly the same time. Yeah. Why would he do it afterwards? The free kick's being given. Why would he do it afterwards?
Jeff, you don't think it was a foul then?
No, I think it was a foul. But what I'm saying is there are 3 or 4 fouls going on in the box at the same time. Yeah. I think it was a definite foul, but there are 3 or 4 fouls going on at the same time. Who is to say what is the most significant foul?
I don't know if you heard me. That's exactly what I said right at the start. That there was loads and loads of grappling going on.
Yeah, but you just said to me that Declan Rice and Mavropanos and Trossard blocking up. You said to me that was after the other foul. And that's just not true, Perry. It's not true. It happened at the same time.
Jeff, that's because I was listening to Darren Cann on Match Today last night, and that's how he explained it. That's exactly how he explained it. That he said that the significant foul was the one with the arm of Pablo across.
Significant foul.
When you watch
that makes me laugh.
When you watch it,
who determined what's significant and what's not?
Perry, when you watch it, though, it's so many fouls are going on.
But that's not my interpret. That's not me. You're not listening to what I said. That's not me. That's what Darren Cann, Harry explained it last night.
Yeah, but you didn't mention Darren Cann. You were presenting it as your opinion, Perry. Look,
no,
let's talk about something else in the game, shall we? Because I just think, Mikel Arteta, what was he thinking when he made the change in the first half when Ben White was injured, and he decided to bring Declan Rice out of midfield and bring Zubimendi on? I mean, he must have been desperately concerned that was going to come back and bite him.
Yeah, we did say when it happened. I think he went a bit too pep, to be honest. I think he overthought it, because Declan Rice, in my opinion, obviously one of the best midfield players in world football at the minute, and Arsenal were dominating the game. And the reason the game got revved up is because there was 2 really good tackles from Somerville. The first one was on Declan Rice, and the second one was the 50-50 on Ben White. And it wasn't a foul. Ben White, injured his knee. And then I'm just looking at it thinking, well, basically just put Mosquera on. You put Mosquera on in right back, because Arsenal were dominating the game in midfield with Rice's physical presence, and Calafiori was causing West Ham all sorts of problems coming in that inverted left back position. So, and when Declan Rice went out to the right back position, Arsenal lost all their momentum, and West Ham started to get really physical. And it was good for the neutral, where there was loads and loads of sort of 50-50s and physical challenges coming in. And that's when West Ham got themselves back into the game.
Perry, I think what a lot of fans, the problem they have with the Arsenal goal being given, not given, sorry, the West Ham goal, is that all season Arsenal have been pushing the keeper, arms in the face of the goalkeeper. The first game of the season against Manchester United, game against Aston Villa, numerous occasions, Arsenal have benefited from the referee saying play on. And then yesterday, for that decision to go their favour, a lot of people disagree.
Yeah, but because that's happened earlier in the season, it doesn't mean to say you don't give that decision because Arsenal have got away with grappling.
Where's the consistency, though?
But again, that's down. You'd have to ask the PGMOL, you'd have to ask the referees with the grappling. The thing that winds me up more of the grappling is when there's an attacker that's trying to attack the ball, whether it's from a free kick or a corner, the defender is facing the opposite way from the ball, and the defender's got his arms around the attacker. So then I think if they start giving penalties, and then you'll eradicate, not all of it, because it's a physical game. You won't eradicate all of the pushing and shoving, but you eradicate like the majority of it. And most of the time, let's be honest, all the grappling is lazy defending. You don't see defenders actually facing the direction of the ball anymore, sort of side on, seeing where their attacker's coming from. So just because Arsenal got away with you doesn't mean to say that then you don't give that decision yesterday.
Perry, brilliant. Thanks, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, boys.
Jake says, God, Jeff's unbearable this morning, such a whinger. He can't hide the fact that he absolutely hates Arsenal. You know what, Jake? I couldn't
No
care.
one hates Arsenal.
I couldn't care less about
You've
Arsenal.
got to speak your mind and speak fair.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care whether Arsenal or Manchester City win the league. I just want to enjoy watching Premier League football without all this wrestling and grappling, and rugby
I
tackling.
think Perry had his full kit on there as
Going
well.
on.
I think. Shin pads on.
Anyway, thanks for the text, Jake. For more reaction yesterday, check out the latest edition of the Premier League All Access podcast with Sam Matterface and Alex Crook, who are there for talkSPORT and assess that dramatic game at the London Stadium. Coming up, we turn our attention to one of the best heavyweight fights in recent memory and whether or not we will get a Wardley-Dubois rematch.
Content creator and Palace fan Ollie Thomas is with us this morning. A very good morning to you, Ollie. How are you?
Morning, Ollie.
Morning. I'm good. I'm a bit tired, as you can imagine, but I'm good. And thanks, Dean. You're right. We are the best fans in the world.
It's debatable. It's debatable, Ollie. I'm joking. I have a soft spot for Palace. My sister plays for Palace. They just got promoted, and fair play to them. Your manager. The fact that he is leaving and he might win a third trophy before he goes is crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. It's obviously sad that he's going, but I think it could have turned a bit sour and did turn a bit sour at the start of the calendar year. And fair play to Steve Parish, who held his own and didn't sack him. And it's now kind of become a nice send-off. And I think everyone wants to win it for Glasner as well, rather than it being like a bitter goodbye, I suppose. I think we've channeled that departure really well. And yeah, I'm feeling confident. It's weird watching a Palace team that just repeatedly turns up in big games. Like, I'm just not used to it. Every single big game we've basically ever had under Glasner, we've turned up, played really well. So hopefully we can do it one more time.
Why do you think he's leaving the club? I'm trying to work it out myself. Because he must realise that
wasn't
Palace
guaranteed. I mean, they got rid of the best players and they didn't replace them. And he'd won trophies, and they still hadn't got that right. Would that be it, Ollie? Would you think he was frustrated with how the club has been run?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he basically did exactly the same thing when he was at Wolfsburg and Frankfurt. Like, the timelines are very similar in terms of he comes to a club, starts really well, does really well, and then falls out with the board. And he's been obviously very open about the fact that he didn't think we should have sold Eze, didn't think we should have sold Gahey, or at least when we sold them.
Hi, very good morning to you. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling Gabby Agbonlahor is with me. Right, it's time for our coffee break with Costa Express.
The Costa Coffee Break on talkSPORT, sponsored by Costa Express. Quality coffee, quality day.
And thank goodness, a lighter story for everyone, especially Rochdale fans. Obviously, title and relegation potential deciding action in the Premier League. But what a story coming up from the National League. It was, as if you didn't know, it was the National League playoff final at the weekend, and it was Boreham Wood against Rochdale. Now, Rochdale finished on 106 points in the regular season. They thought they'd won promotion when they took the lead against York City, the only side above them, in the 95th minute. But York equalised in, the 103rd minute. It meant that York were automatically promoted in the one automatic place, and Rochdale had to go into the playoffs. And credit to them, they got to the final. They beat Scunthorpe in the semi-final. But it looked all done and dusted when they were 2-0 down against Boreham Wood with, I don't know, what was it, 15 minutes to go, something like that. Abdul Malik, wow. What a performance from him from Boreham Wood as well. He was absolutely brilliant. And Boreham Wood are a good side. I'd said that before the final. And Rochdale got one back. And would you believe it? In the 7th minute of 6 minutes of added time.
Incredible.
Manny Dizarouwe, who is their top goal scorer, brilliant goal scorer, flung himself at a cross. He just got the faintest of touches with his head, and it went in off a Boreham Wood player, but Dizarouwe gets the goal. No question about that. Sensational. Finished 2-2, went to added time. Boreham Wood missed three of the... Well, I say they missed. They either had 3 out of 4 penalties saved or missed in that shootout, and Rochdale are a Football League team. And just as has been done, 106 points. They finished 16 points clear.
They need to change it, though, don't they?
Of course they do.
2 come straight up.
Yeah. And you know what? For the 3-up, 3-down campaign, in a way, this is a bad result. Because had Rochdale, with 106 points, not gone up through the playoffs, everyone would have seen the iniquity of it, the nonsense of 3-up, of not having 3-up and 3-down, having 1 up
16 points
and
is
1
incredible.
through the playoffs.
Yeah.
And when you've got 106 points in a season, incredible. So of course they deserve to get through it. But I hope people can see, the nonsense that only one side goes up automatically. Because Rochdale, if it had not been for Manny Dizarouwe, they would have missed out. And their goalkeeper, by the way, was brilliant in the shootout as well. So they would have missed out, and that would have been an absolute nonsense.
Like we said earlier, fair play to them, though, because the pressure was on Rochdale.
Yeah.
I mean, and the players as well, to lift the players after that. In seconds, York go and score.
Jim McNulty, the manager, deserves great credit. After that York game, when they'd been so close and they were celebrating, he said, we all went out. They said, we all had a few drinks.
Yes.
And they bonded as a team, and they used the fact they were going to be going to a Wembley final as motivation as well.
It's where you earn your money as a manager.
So brilliant. Well done to Jim McNulty. Yes. Well done to Rochdale. Well done to Manny Dizarouwe. And guess who's on from Corals this morning? It's the Rochdale cowboy himself, John Hill. So we'll be hearing a lot from John about that. That's in the next hour. That was all thanks to Costa Express.
The Costa Coffee Break on talkSPORT, sponsored by Costa Express. Quality coffee, quality day.
Right, let's turn our attention to a huge fight on Saturday night. Saw Daniel Dubois dethrone Fabio Wardley, become a 2-time heavyweight world champion in Manchester. Some fight as well. Dubois down twice early on. Wardley finished battered, bruised, bloodied. Story on the back page of The Sun, which is a surprise this morning, as the article suggests a rematch could be on the cards, and Daniel Dubois would be ready for one. Actually, that doesn't surprise me at all. I think it's an absolute inevitability. Joining us for more on this and the fight itself, very good morning to talkSPORT's boxing reporter Gareth A. Davis. Morning, Gareth.
Good morning, Gareth.
Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, Gabby. Great to see you.
Yeah, you two. Look, a rematch it's inevitable, isn't it, after a fight like that?
I think it is. I think that obviously Fabio Wardley is going to have to recover, notwithstanding the damage that Daniel Dubois took early in the fight. And was an amazing atmosphere, record indoor crowd for a British boxing event. It was unbelievable, one of the most thrilling and brutal, raw and visceral fights I think I've ever witnessed. And I do think they will end up in the ring again together in 8 or 9, maybe 10 months' time.
Gareth, he's going to need a lot of recovery, isn't he, Fabio Ward? I mean, I was watching the fight with some friends, and one of my friends boxes a bit, and he says he should be stopped maybe a couple of rounds earlier. He looks like he could be hit by a baseball bat, Fabio Wardley, and he wouldn't go down. I mean, how did he stay on his feet, Gareth?
It's unbelievable. This is a man with extraordinary resilience and incredible story. I do tend to agree with your friends and you, Gabby, who I've heard on the radio almost for 24/7 for the last 4 or 5 days.
Is that a complaint, Gareth?
No. It's something to do with Aston Villa, I believe. But no, it's listen. You know your boxing, Gabby. You do as well, Jeff. And the optics on Fabio Wardley weren't kind of comfortable for the last couple of rounds. I spoke to Ben Davison, his trainer, about this yesterday, and he said we looked at pulling him out a couple of times, and he was still responsive and firing back. And I do buy that argument. I think up till about the 7th or 8th round, Fabio Wardley could still have turned the fight around with a single punch or two. And obviously, Daniel Dubois had taken over after 3 rounds, as Jeff said. Dubois was down in the first, I think, 11 seconds, and down in the third as well. But he slowly took over with his superior boxing skills. And the fact that Fabio Wardley had rescued victory from the jaws of defeat against Justice Hooney and Joseph Parker late in the fight with knockouts. That was one of the reasons they kept him in the fight. Howard Foster might have stopped the fight, got the doctor to look at him a couple of times. But the one thing I'll say is that Fabio Wardley walked past his mother at the end and said, "I'm all right, Mum, don't worry." And she was sitting ringside. I know his mother. And the thing is, because they're heavyweights, and then I'm not excusing the fact, I think I agree with you, it should have been stopped 2 rounds earlier after about 9. Because they're heavyweights, they're not weight draining. I think there's more of a resilience in the body, and this guy Fabio Wardley is something else. But I think we'll see them fight again, and I think it'll be a stadium this time, probably next summer.
I mean, there's been a bit of speculation, hasn't there, about potentially a fight for Dubois against Moses Itomo. Would that be... Moses Itomo's 21. Would that be too soon, too early for him?
It would, but it would be an amazing fight, and we'd be salivating over it even more than we were with Wardley and Dubois. I mean, I spoke to Moses Itomo ringside for talkSPORT on Saturday night. Obviously, you know, they'll wander the ring doing the post-fight, the ringside doing the post-fight and celebrity interviews. We spoke to Noel Gallagher as well, who was loving the moment, loving the night. The fight is viable. Moses Itomo is the #1 challenger with the WBO title, the World Boxing Organization title that now Daniel holds, 2nd time as a world champion in his 28 years as a person. I don't think Frank Warren will put him in with him quite yet, but Moses told me ringside, it's on our social media channels as well, that he would fight anyone, and he would love to fight Alexander Usyk as well before he leaves the sport, even though he thinks he won't. So I don't think that'll happen next.
Gareth, sorry.
No, go on, mate.
Gareth, I don't know if it was round 9 or 10, but Wardley come out for the round, and he was sort of swaying. That's when I thought, like, oh, you've got to take him out of there. I didn't know where he was. Do you know what I mean?
Completely agree. That was, like I said, end of round 9, they should have closed the fight. I mean, he staggered out. His upper body was still there, but his legs had gone, hadn't they? Yeah. And he was taken to the corner by Howard Foster. The doctor had a look, and he staggered over to I think it was the neutral corner for the doctor. It was just across the way from us where we were commentating. And it looked like the moment everyone was screaming, it's time to stop this fight, because I say it was uncomfortable at that moment. But the trouble is, Fabio Wardley had landed, I think it was an uppercut or a right hand, where he looked like he was about to knock Daniel Dubois out. So, as I say, that was the thing. There was a lot of resistance still in him. He's an extraordinary gladiator.
Dubois done well, didn't he? But do you think if Itomo was fighting Wardley, he finishes him? A better finisher than Dubois?
I think Moses Itomo finishes everyone in the heavyweight division, bar Alexander Usyk now.
Wow. Gareth, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Gareth.
Always a pleasure. Up the Villa, eh?
Up the Villa, Gareth. Love that.
talkSPORT's boxing reporter Gareth A. Davis there. Mitch, as Texas says, morning gents, big fan of the show. Please stop blaming Arsenal for the PGMOL and refereeing failures. Yeah, I mean, we're not trying to, Mitch. Honestly, every team grapples, pushes, bends the rules, not just Arsenal. You are absolutely correct. Decision-making, consistency is the issue. And again, Mitch, you are absolutely correct. I don't think anybody's trying to blame Arsenal for the grappling, the pushing, the bending the rules, because you're right, every single team does it, and it just needs stopping. Lee says, does no one want to talk about David Raya's save and what a save it was? Yep. Absolutely brilliant, you know. He has been sensational for Arsenal again this season. By the way, just is one little word of consolation though, Mateus Fernandes, who had that chance, I thought he was exceptional. Yeah. Exceptional in the game. In fact, I think in recent weeks he has been exceptional, and that's why Nuno's team is still in with a chance of avoiding relegation. Mavropanos as well, by the way. How much has he improved?
Incredible, isn't it?
Out of all recognition. Yeah. Brilliant. But David Raya's save there was fantastic. And Hermansen's was right in the first half as well from Trossard. Up next, after being booed off against Chelsea, what on earth happens next for Liverpool and what's needed this...
To join Arsenal was the biggest achievement in my career, but the way the things end up was a little bit not nasty. But at the end of the day, I'm happy. They are happy. They know, you know what, life goes on. If you ask me if I regret, I don't regret. But I'm happy also giving them something back, because at the end of the day, if I can't represent and defend my parents, I don't know who will do it for me. So it's kind of doing my job.
You're spot on, Emmanuel. I don't blame you at all. I would have done the same, mate.
Thank you.
Looking at the title race, Manchester City messing up against Everton. How do you think it's going to go? Who do you think will win it in the end?
Who do I think will win it? If you ask me today, I will still tell you that I think Man City will win it, but I would like Arsenal to win it, because it has been over a decade. They have been fighting for that even when I was there. We were fighting for it. Obviously, in April, then sometime in March and April, it's all over, and we drop points at Wigan, at Bolton, wherever you can call it. Then we saw the league sliding out of our hand. But this year they're doing quite well, and the good thing is that defensively they are very good. But now they have to win the last 3 games to win the league. And obviously, Man City again dropping points at Everton. They will come back stronger. They will manage with their manager, with the players, with the experienced team they had. They will do everything possible to win the last 3 games and wait for Arsenal to drop points so they can be champion. But trust me, it's not going to be an easy task for both of them. Let's see who win. But I wish, for the first time, I wish Arsenal wins it, because they have been...
Boxing. It's a sport that makes multi-millionaires out of the world's best fighters. But it's not as flush with cash as you'd think. We all see how much the likes of Tyson Fury or Canelo Alvarez make every fight, but that's not the case for those just starting out, or those who aren't even at that level. For example, if you've just turned pro and don't have a promoter, you have to sell your own tickets, cover the cost of the venue yourself, and pay the taxman at the end of it. You might not even break even, but if you do, you're looking at 5 to 10 grand max. A mid-tier fighter might make more like 10 to 50 grand, but you still have to give up half of that in costs. So unless you're fighting for a world title, it's tough to make money. One potential way of doing it, though, is being a journeyman. Here's former European champion talkSPORT's Spencer Oliver explaining how that could work.
They want to fight every week. And they can be going in against the prospects, so they can demand good money. And they might be demanding like $5,000, $10,000 for a 6-rounder or something because they're going in with a prospect. He gets through that, the journeyman gets through that fight, and he can fight again next week.
I mean, even so, it's not much, and you're getting punched in the face for a job. It's only really at the top level, i.e. fighting for titles, where you're earning up to 6 figures and can afford a diamond chain or that Ferrari. So boxing isn't a sport that allows you to retire at 40 and live a life of luxury. Much like a lot of other sports and jobs in general, it takes an awful lot of luck quite early in your career to really make it worth your while.
Good morning to you. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. It's the perfect time to upgrade your car. Get 2 years free servicing when you buy a used car in the upgrade event. Check it out online. I'm Jeff Stelling. Gabby Agbonlahor is with me just after 7:35 at the moment. And Paul says, please thank Arsenal for securing safety for Leeds and Nottingham Forest. Yeah, it was a great weekend for both of those sides. OK, time now for this. Now, fancy £25,000 in your hand, completely tax-free. At talkSPORT, our competitions have just got a whole lot bigger with even more prizes up for grabs to give you that winning feeling. Head to talksportwin.com to enter and for full T's and C's. On to Liverpool now. Arne Slot faces audible boos from the Anfield faithful during and at the end of Saturday's 1-1 draw against Chelsea at the weekend. Slot said he expected exactly that reaction when he substituted Rio Ungamoha. And on the Sunday edition, top football writer Henry Winter said the fans were within their rights.
You know, they pay to get into the ground. They have a right to articulate their frustration. But it's interesting listening to Slot there. Obviously, he's going to have the backing from the board. You assume it's there because managers who finish in the Champions League, which is worth £80 million upwards, owners see that, and that's really what they think about. And almost like trophies, to some owners, come secondary to the to boarding the lucrative gravy train of the Champions League. And there's some mitigating factors in terms of the sort of turnover and change of particularly of the attacking players. Woven into that is the tragedy of Diogo Jota. There are all these sort of elements, but he still has some good players to pick from.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, the one thing is they're not guaranteed Champions League. No, not yet. No, my maths are worse than I thought.
Not at all.
And you know, they've got a difficult finish, haven't they? They've got to go to Villa yet, and I think they've got Brentford at home.
Brentford at home, tough game.
And Brentford will still be pushing for European football. Let's bring in 10-9 major trophy winner with Liverpool, Mark Lawrenson. Morning, Lauro.
Morning, guys.
Morning, Mark.
Morning.
Laura, what did you make of the weekend? You know, just watching it, you know, I've rarely heard an Anfield crowd so quiet for a start, and then the booing when Ungamoa's taken off, and the booing at the end of the game. I mean, this was most sort of un-Liverpool-like, really.
Yeah, I mean, the young lad, he got a little bit of a knock, hadn't he? And
Slop had actually said to him, are you fit enough to go back on? And he said, oh, I'm not sure. So that's why he took him off. So that's obviously understandable. But yeah, was there at the game, and very, very unusual, as you rightly say, for anybody in that crowd, 61,000 of them to boo. And I think it's just a case that, they're not sure at the moment exactly which direction this football club's going. And they're going to have to spend a lot of money, because they've only got one left back. And this is a left back that wants to play left winger. They've got four right backs who are all injured at different times as well. So, plus obviously you've got the forwards players as well. It's almost as big a job as it was a year ago in terms of where the players are going to be. So, whether the club have got all that money, I'm just not sure. They're going to have to do some good bargaining, I would have thought.
I think as well, Mark, you're spot on there, especially in the attacking areas. Salah's leaving. What a player to try and replace. Going to be tough. Isak's obviously got his injury problems. He has his whole career. Ekitike might not play to the latter stages of next season. Achilles injuries, I've had it done before. Horrible injury. But when you look at the players' goals and assists this season, it says it all. Only Ekitike in double figures, 11 Premier League goals. Then it's Gakpo 7, Salah 7, Szoboszlai 6. And Salah has the most assists on 6 assists. That's very rare, isn't it, for Liverpool?
Oh yeah, unbelievably rare as well. And I think the thing is as well is that you look at Liverpool and they start the games. They're not like into the opposition straight away and making it difficult. It's got this way on. It's like we start the game. We get the ball. We do this all that. And if you watch a lot of the clubs in the Premier League. From minute one, they're in your face. Yeah, they're all in your face, and I think all the Liverpool supporters are very much why can't we play like that? I think there's a stat now that I think they've only scored 4 goals in the first 15 minutes of games, and apparently, well, obviously they scored at the weekend, but apparently that was 17th in the Premier League. So. That's easy. Listen, that's easy to sort. It's like, get on out there and get into them. And obviously that's the thing that Slot doesn't have, and obviously that Jurgen did have, and that's the difference.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about, contributions to new players. Darren Fletcher at the weekend, I was staggered by this, said they brought in Kirkes and Frimpong to replace Andy Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold, and they contributed 1 assist each. Incredible, isn't it? Yep. During the season. And you've got to take a look at the recruitment, haven't you, Laura, when you look at Liverpool's problems?
Yeah, you do. But in fairness, they've been the recruitment generally has been very, very good. So this is a rare thing for them, but it's going to cost them loads of money. It really seriously is. So, and I think the goalkeeper, the first team goalkeeper, I think he thinks he might want to leave, and I think there might be 1 or 2 more than him. So
will Curtis Jones stay, Mark? Or will there's talk that he might leave as well?
Who, Curtis Jones?
Yes.
Possibly, but he's the only person that can play right back at the moment, and we've got 5 of them. So it's possible. I don't know if his contract's up or not, but I think the thing with Curtis is when everybody's fit, generally, he makes the bench rather than making the team on a regular basis. So it's a big summer. It's a massive summer, and I was listening to Henry as well. There is that they're not a sacking club, Liverpool. They're just not. But if you start the season next season and you haven't got the players that you want and you're struggling a little bit, then good luck.
Laura got a text through from Ben from Birmingham. He says, I think Loro needs to lace up his boots. It's just what Arnie Slot needs.
Listen, Loro can't bend down to race his boots. Absolutely no chance. Christ almighty.
Brilliant. Laura, great to talk to you as ever.
Mate. Cheers, Mark.
Happy days.
Thank you.
Cheers.
When I mentioned my maths is a bit rusty, and I wasn't, my calculation will not certain to make the Champions League. I got a text here. It says, morning, Jeff. Your maths leaves a lot to be desired. See you soon. Love, Rachel Riley.
Why? I don't get that. I don't get why if Bournemouth win their 2 games, they'll go above Villa and Liverpool. If Liverpool don't win another game, then
they're not guaranteed.
Exactly. And then Aston Villa, if they don't win the Europa League, then Liverpool will miss out. So your maths is right.
I mean, I tell you what game that is now. Their next game, of course, is at
Massive.
your place at Villa this Friday night, which is live and exclusive.
Massive game. Jeff, I think he rests players, though. The manager, I really think he does. Yeah, because this is, like he did against Spurs, this is a massive cup final, and he's not going to want a key player like Tielemans or McGinn to get injured. Be interesting to see what lineup he puts out.
The problem is, he saw what happened against Spurs.
I know. It's a difficult situation because Friday, then Wednesday, if you just got it over the line against Spurs and Burnley, the players could have had spa days to the final.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean, Jeff? Like, wrapped him in cotton wool, and now he's got to play some of them.
Thanks, Gabby. Right, still to come on breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Go big on landscaping with Travis Perkins. Find everything you need at travisperkins.co.uk.
North London forever, whatever the weather. Even the weather was good last night.
If you're a fan of any one of the other 91 league clubs, you will not be looking forward to hearing from broadcaster and Arsenal loudmouth Piers Morgan, who'll be on to tell us whether the Premier League title really is signed, sealed and delivered. We'll also be asking former Premier League referee Chris Foy what can be done to tackle the problem of grappling at set pieces. And that was our breakfast preview with Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. From fence panels to decking or paving packs to topsoil, Travis Perkins has all your landscaping.
Let's not worry about other teams. I'm sorry, West Ham, not our problem. Okay, you lost 3-0 to Brentford. You've got 3 games. Go and beat Arsenal on the weekend. Do it yourself. Aston Villa, worry about Aston Villa. And the players, they took it easy. My daughter was there in the whole end. She's like, Dad, why is everyone walking? It was walking football from Aston Villa. But then when you see a performance like that, where they've put in 100% every player, you don't care about that. Up the Villa!
Up the Villa!
Up the Villa! Istanbul!
Do you want the hands mask? Put the hands mask on.
Gabby's putting the hands mask on.
Up the Villa! Up the Villa! Up the European Villa! Istanbul! Istanbul! Let's go! Let's go, baby! Boys,
do as anyone see. Do as anyone see.
Yeah, got it.
Let's set it up for Gabby.
Sorry. Has anyone seen Maximus Scott? Where are you, Max? We need some news. Robin Hood, the Prince of Thieves, Sherwood Forest, Friar Tuck. Where are you, Friar? The original boots chemist. Hooters. Is Hooters closed? I used to open Hooters. Close Hooters. Shut it down. Matt Ford, do us a favour, mate. Stuart Broad, where are you? Chris Wokes, better player. Where are you? Tricky Trees. Rock City. HB Sauce, where are you? Notts Forest.
And Big H Marcus killed me. Big H Marcus.
Morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling Gabby Agbonlahor is with me. Dave says, morning, Jeff and Gabby. As a Liverpool fan, I can't believe how much PR Slot gets. He hardly gets criticism from pundits for his terrible season. He's lost 18 games this season, has no football philosophy, and gets humiliated in all the cups. He deserves to be sacked at the end of the season. Could be some big decisions to be made at Liverpool. Quickly, a response to West Ham against Arsenal. Sam's a West Ham fan, wants to have his say. Morning, Sam.
Morning, Sam.
How we doing? How we doing, boys?
Yeah, good, mate. Yeah, you're good. What did you make of it?
I'm absolutely fuming, mate. I'll tell you what, I've had absolute enough of this VAR. Boys, we've got to ban the VAR. Get rid of the VAR, especially for corners. Keep it for throw-ins, but ban the VAR for corners, mate. It's an absolute joke. It's Ruby weekend. I've had a row with the missus a lot. It's an absolute joke. Just get rid of it.
Sam, I couldn't agree more. You put it very succinctly. Thank you, mate.
Did your missus think that it was a foul?
Yeah, no, she didn't really care, mate, but it's not one of the things, isn't it?
Stop moaning about football. Grow up.
Ban it, lads.
Yeah. Sam, thanks a lot for the call.
It's only a game. Why are you so angry?
Look, huge stories from football and in Scotland. Massive weekend. Yes. Hearts held against Motherwell. There's a VAR issue there as well, by the way. The referee was called to the screen. The VAR felt there should have been a penalty to Hearts, and he did not change his mind, having gone to the screen. And Celtic beat Rangers by 3-1, including that overhead kick from Des and Maeda. So it could turn out to be a winner-take-all confrontation. Could next weekend. I'm delighted to say we're joined by 8-time major trophy winner for Celtic, Paul Lambert. Morning, Paul.
Good morning, Gaffer.
Morning, Gabby. How are you?
Very well, mate.
Good.
Well, look, it was an amazing weekend, wasn't it? I watched the Celtic Rangers game, and I thought it was a good game of football. I'll be absolutely honest. Do you think it is going to go down to the wire? Is it advantage to Celtic, which so many people seem to believe now?
I think, Jeff, if you said to them they've got 2 games to win it, then history tells you they should win it, but it's not like that anymore. It's different, and Jens has got Motherwell going really well. It'll be a tough game at Fir Park, but if they can beat Motherwell at Parkhead, I think they'll do it. I said I fancy Celtic from the off, even though they're having this hard season. I still fancy them to do it. So I think if they can get by Motherwell, then I think they'll do it.
How good have Motherwell done, Gaffer? Because this season, at one stage, I think they conceded the least goals in the Premier League until recent. I mean, in Europe till recently. It's going to be a tough game. Hearts just went there on the weekend and drew, didn't they? So it won't be easy for Celtic.
Gabby, no. Fir Park's notorious. It's a tough little ground to go to, and expectancy level on Celtic will be really tough. So I think from that point of view, but Jens, I had Jens at Norwich when I was there, and he's done fantastically well. I saw Motherwell play Celtic a few weeks ago, and the only thing they lacked was a bit of power. Nice little football team, but never had the power. And but that's why it's going to be a tough game for Celtic there.
Yeah, they lost there in December in the sort of regulation season, if you like. Look, I think Rangers, is fair to say, early stages dominated. There was a bit of controversy about that equalising goal. Jack Butland claimed he'd been unsighted by an offside Celtic player. What did you think?
I understand where Jack's coming from on it, but I think if Celtic and Rangers, you have to win games. Nobody's going to look for VAR decisions or anything like that. You're going to have to win games. And I don't think. I mean, Coyce will probably say it as well. I think that's probably the weakest Rangers team I've seen in the last decade. They've not won anything since Stephen obviously left there. But it's no good enough for them. And it's either or though from you. You have to win. It doesn't matter where you play or who you're playing. You have to win. And if you don't, you're going to feel the wrath. So they can have all the excuses they want, Rangers, and Jack can say what he wants. At the end of the day, it's a result that matters to everybody up there.
We had Neil Lennon on a few days ago, and he's got the final, hasn't he, against Celtic? And I said to him, Gaffer, if Martin has a go at you, what are you going to do? He says, I'll probably just take it. That's the one person I won't argue back with.
Gabby, you're probably the same. I bet when you meet him, you call him Gaffer.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody does.
Go and grab him a coffee, a water, whatever he needs.
Unbelievable. Honestly, I met him a few weeks ago up at Fir Park, up at Parkhead against Motherwell, and I was in his office with him, and then you're still frightened of him.
Yeah, still scared.
Yeah, you're sitting there and you're thinking, dear, oh dear. But listen, Celtic wouldn't be in the position if he wasn't the manager right now. If he wasn't the manager, nobody else could have turned it around the way he's done
He's
it.
making big decisions as well, isn't he? Even on the weekend, Hatate on the bench, Chamberlain on the bench, Iniacho on the bench. He's got some big players that he's rotating well.
That's what I like about him. It doesn't matter who you are, and he can put his career on the table with anybody, and there's no many will match him with it. So no, he's been a catalyst for Celtic. It's a great decision by the board to bring him in, and to do it, absolutely brilliant. I hope he does it.
Yeah, I know he's been absolutely fantastic. What did you make of the Motherwell Hearts game at the weekend? And Paul, the fact that the referee was called to the screen by the VAR, but decided to stick with his decision not to give Hearts a penalty.
I don't mind that, Jeff, because I think the referee, Gabby's played the game as well. I think you want the referee to make a decision, no somebody else sitting behind a screen. That's a frustrating thing for me, where I don't like it. Personally, I don't like the VAR. Let the referee make the choice, and if it's right or wrong, hopefully through the season it evens itself out. But the VAR thing, it's not for me, and I've seen it all over the world doing it, and everybody's got the same problems, and you just got to take it. There's nothing. The referee, I thought, was really good. He stuck to his guns and went, "That's the decision I've made," and you have to abide by it, you know.
What did you make of the fixtures in the split? Because Ali McCoy was vocal a few weeks ago. He was not happy with Scottish football.
The furry ball and the square ball, is that what you're saying? Is it?
He wasn't happy.
Listen, it's brilliant up the road. Honestly, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
You can't say nothing, and I understand where Costy's coming from. If it was the other way around, I would probably be saying the same. It's just you're one or the other, and you're either Rangers or Celtic, and I get it, but how else are you going to do it? You know, what other way can you make the split, the fixtures? But it's all good fun, and it will settle down. It definitely will settle down.
So looking from the outside in, then Paul, just finally, Danny Rowe, suddenly seems to be under a bit of pressure. I mean, they've lost 3 on the bounce. Should he be? Hasn't he done a good job there?
See, in terms of silverware, Jeff, no, he's not. And that's the reality of it. And I don't know Danny Rowe. He's probably a nice guy, but what I do know about being an old firm footballer, you have to win. The Rangers fans will certainly tell him that. And finishing third is 100% no good enough. Yeah. You finish second, you're last. You finish third, you're forget it. That's never going to happen. So I think he made a mistake by trying to have a go at Martin with the Stuttgart game and having a go about Martin O'Taylor or his team. He shouldn't have done that. He should have, somebody for the PR situation at Rangers should have handled that better for him. But definitely, it's not acceptable for Rangers not to win anything. But it's still not going
to. Paul, look, not if you're a Rangers fan, but for us outsiders, it's been a brilliant season. So
amazing.
Looking forward to the climax to it all as well. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Gaffer.
Mate.
Thank you.
See you guys. See you, Gabby. See you, Jeff.
Later, mate.
See you.
Former Celtic star Paul Lambert, many other clubs as well, of course.
Yes.
Coming up, it was in controversial circumstances a bit. It looks like Arsenal are going to win their first Premier League title in 22 years. You won't want to miss this. Or maybe you will. Piers Morgan is...
The performances that you've seen from Chelsea. I mean, the Brighton game.
You can't defend what Chelsea have done.
Why have they given
Caicedo
an extra year?
You cannot defend what Chelsea have done. There is nothing positive to say about the way the club has behaved and the club has been run, the club have played this season. There is nothing positive.
You can have 3 or 4 maybe that you see in a team that are not doing it, but there's so many games this season I've seen Chelsea players, every single player is not running around. Yeah. Every single player is not trying.
Gabby,
every single
the
player is not
statistics are
tracking
clear.
back.
they have been outrun in every single Premier League game. After 10 games, the alarm bells should be ringing.
And in fairness, you can moan about the way the club is run. You can moan about the model. You can moan about the revolving door of managers, which we were told, by the way, when they hired Graham Potter, they weren't going to be that club anymore. They've got worse. But there still has to be individual responsibility. There still has to be professional pride. And there isn't in that dressing room.
You got Fofana getting taken off in a recent game.
Well,
and he's throwing his toys
I
out
have
the
to
pram,
say,
like,
I have to say,
he's garbage.
He's got a history of falling out with everybody.
Incredible,
Bad
isn't it?
signing. What? Signed
Who
him
signed
off the
him?
back of a long-term
money.
injury, and guess what happened? He got injured.
He didn't play for nearly 2
Who
years.
could have seen that coming?
But even look at all Chelsea's centre-half options. Listen, Chalobah, decent player, not at the level where Chelsea want to get to. Badiashile, not good enough. The Sassy, who's at West Ham on loan, not good enough.
He's
Fofana,
actually
not
played
good
quite
enough.
well for West Ham.
I know,
by the
but
way.
where Chelsea want to get to, all of those centre-halves, you're looking at it and saying, that's not a backline.
Especially
or
when
a
you spent
goalkeeper.
2.5 billion
Exactly.
quid.
How much do all those players
Well, they
cost?
signed the goalkeeper and Robert Sanchez, who Brighton made no real effort to keep.
Monaco, Singapore, Las Vegas. What do they all have in common? Well, they're all F1 street circuits. 20 years ago, the sports only visited 3 a year. From 2026, there'll be 10, despite the actual racing often being worse. So why? Why are there so many street circuits? Cars racing past the Casino Monte Carlo is one of the iconic images in all of sport. But in the last few years, it's been joined in the Street Circuit Club by the dazzling Grand Prix on the Las Vegas Strip, in Miami, Azerbaijan and others. And there's no sign of the trend slowing down. The streets of Madrid have also gotten involved, and there are conversations about Grand Prix in the capitals of Thailand and Rwanda. But fitting them in means we said goodbye to classic circuits like Hockenheim and Imola, angering fans who are still packing out the European tracks like Spa, the Hungaroring and Monza. And these generally produce more wheel-to-wheel action than street circuits too. At Silverstone in 2025, there were a total of 26 on-track overtakes. At Monaco, 4. I'm an F1 enthusiast. Even I struggle with that. But it appears to be a good step. In 2025, there was a record 2.3 million strong viewership for the Monaco Grand Prix in the US alone. Meanwhile, for the British Grand Prix several weeks later, 1.5 million tuned in. So why are we seeing this drive towards street circuits? Well, no prizes for guessing. Money. Formula One demands a fee of between $20 and $60 million for the rights to even hold an event. In total, including sponsorships, it's believed officials in Saudi Arabia pay almost $100 million for their race. The huge fees are possible because of the street track's city centre locations, as people staying at hotels at inflated prices and tourist sites brimming with visitors mean the cities rake the cash back in when the race comes to town. So it makes financial sense for Formula One and the cities, but will it cost the sport in the long run if F1 races are too boring? After all, nothing beats the roar of an F1 car as it flies through the forests of Europe, or mechanics watching a storm coming across the humid Asian countryside. Take that away and, well, you may as well just watch American IndyCar.
Good morning, 4 minutes past 8. It's Monday, May the 11th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Buy a used car and get a free 2-year service plan plus an extra £500 when you part exchange. Shop the upgrade event today. I'm Jeff Stelling Gabby Agbonlahor's with me right through till 10 o'clock. On the way for you between now and then, we'll speak live to former Spurs and Chelsea midfielder Gus Poyet. Can Spurs win at home for the first time since December and take some pressure off that game at Stamford Bridge next week when they come up against Leeds tonight, live on talkSPORT? And is there a world where Callum Wilson's equaliser yesterday should have stood? We'll put that question to former Premier League ref Chris Foy in around 40 minutes' time. And that's where we start this hour with the destination of this season's title possibly determined.
Hermansen has come up into the penalty area. He's lurking on the edge of the 6 as the ball comes in towards the centre of the penalty area.
The keeper's
Ryan's missed it.
Well. And it's off the line. In fact, it's over the line. West Ham have equalised. West Ham with 19. As Pablo is the offender, according to Chris Kavanagh. He was called over to the screen by Darren England. The West Ham fans can't believe it. Nuno Espirito Santo can't believe it. Pep Guardiola can't believe it.
I'm absolutely fuming with that decision at the end. If that was at the other end of the pitch, it's a goal. That's a disgusting decision.
Arsenal had hundreds of incidents not given to them, and they just got on with their football.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Robert. April Fools.
Throughout the whole Premier League, we've been watching this argy-bargy stuff.
First reaction, my first instinct is a foul.
Some of the opinions we've heard this morning. Joining us now, a man who's started tweeting out his invitation to come out on the breakfast show every time he's asked. The host of the Piers Morgan Uncensored show. I'm a big Arsenal fan. Piers Morgan. Piers.
Morning, Piers.
Morning, Piers, and congratulations on the title.
Yes, congratulations.
Well, good morning, gentlemen. And can I say that I've never been happier to appear on your airwaves than I am this morning, and particularly to drown in the national tears which are exploding from all the eyes of our rivals, squealing like a big bunch of little babies.
Right, okay. Thanks for that, Peter. You've endeared everybody to you even more with that. Look, do you accept it's done and dusted now? I mean, you've got Burnley, who are already relegated, and then Crystal Palace, whose interests lie in the Conference League. So you've won it, haven't you?
Oh, look, it's never over till it's over. But if you were choosing two games that you had to win the title, you'd probably choose Burnley, already relegated, playing them at home, and then Palace away when they've got 3 days until their European final. So, yeah, look, things are looking great. Last night, I had to say, that 5-minute period between West Ham apparently equalising and the referee eventually disallowing it was the only moment in my Arsenal following life where I felt like I actually needed a defibrillator to try and keep myself alive.
Piers, how important has Odegaard been? Because, listen, he's not had the best of seasons. Arsenal fans sometimes prefer Eze, but the composure he showed for the assist to Trossard was top class, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's brilliant. I mean, I think Roy Keane made the best point yesterday, which is that Arsenal, and I've talked about this on talkSPORT ad nauseum and to mass ridicule, but it's the strength of Arsenal's depth in the squad that is the key thing this season. If you go back over the last 3 years where we choked it and came second each time, the problem was the depth of the squad. So we've got a few key injuries and suddenly we're not competing at the same level. The difference this season is that whoever's injured, we can bring on people of commensurate quality. And Odegaard's not been on top form recently. He got injured, was out for a bit, and he's not been playing that well. But in the 20 minutes he came on yesterday, he was absolutely brilliant. And the moment of magic when he wriggled around the box and then found Trossard was a piece of genius. And without that, then maybe the title's gone. So I do think that the 25-man squad, and to reiterate, I've been very consistent, this is not talking about a 16-man squad or comparing us to any of the smaller squads in history, but our 25-man squad is right up there with the greatest in world football.
Sorry. I didn't mean to giggle.
I've literally stunned you. You cannot even argue, can you? The pair of you, you come on with your
right with the greatest,
on.
right with the greatest in world football, Piers. Seriously.
Yes, as a 25 man. Well, hang on a second, Jeff. We are about to potentially, hopefully, probably win the Premier League for the first time in 22 years. And then on the 30th of this month, a week after we potentially probably lift the trophy, we will be playing in the Champions League final. And if we were to win that, that makes us one of the greatest teams in world football history automatically. And then you look at when we have had 25-man squads, it's a recent innovation. It used to be 15, 16. So I'm not comparing it to the great Barca teams of the 80s, 90s, or Real Madrid of the 50s or whatever. I'm just saying since they brought in the bigger squads of 25 players, I believe this Arsenal squad is the greatest in world football history. And the proof will be in the pudding of the trophies we win. And to all those who mocked us when we missed out on the Carabao Cup, which no decent footballer cares about, or the FA Cup, which ceased to be meaningless many, many years ago, there are two trophies in world football anyone in club football cares about, the Premier League and the Champions League, and we are about to win them both.
So, Piers, if PSG beat you in the final, we will invite you back on for you to go back on what you just said there. Is that an invitation you'll accept?
If we've already won the Premier League for the first time in 22 years, you can invite me back on every single morning.
So if PSG beat you in that final, you are happy to go back on your statement, this is one of the greatest squads in the history of football?
I actually think we're going to beat PSG. I think the momentum of winning the league and then a few days later going over to Budapest, and I think all the expectation is PSG are going to hammer us. And I think PSG, they've got some good attacking players, but they're going to come up against the best goalkeeper in the world and the best back four in the world. And they're also going to find that their very fragile own defence is going to come under relentless attack from Saka, from Trossard, from Gyökeres, from a driving Declan Rice. Long as
Piers, how many Arsenal players get into the PSG side?
About 6, I'd say.
Who?
Raya in goal, Saliba, Gabriel, Declan Rice, Saka. Who else am I putting in there? I would put on current. Well, Timber, if he was fit, would get in there. How many is that? 5 or 6?
Before Hakimi.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I don't understand this whole thing that PSG are somehow the untouchables. PSG conceded 4 goals in the first leg.
Well, they're the untouchables because they are the champions of Europe. That's why they're the untouchables. Look, Piers, just going back to yesterday, it was a massive win for Arsenal. Brilliant. Mikel Arteta must have been thinking at one stage, though, we've got to get the points here because otherwise I'm going to get battered after this game.
I'd have led the battering because I thought the decision when I just found it completely inexplicable. Sometimes Arteta does stuff that none of us understand. And when Ben White got injured, clearly we have a top-class right back sitting on the bench in Mosquera. The obvious, simple thing to do was to put him in at right back. But inexplicably, Mikel Arteta decided to put Declan Rice, who's the general of our midfield, to right back. And then very quickly, we lost all control of the game. We started being run over in midfield. And then at halftime, we have to have this ridiculous changing of the guard where Calafiori has been great at left back, has to come off. Lewis Skelly, who's way better, it turns out, in midfield than at left back, gets moved to left back, his lesser position. You've got Zubimendi, who should never have been brought on in the first place, now has to be taken off, which is humiliating for him. And Declan Rice gets put back in the middle, and Mosquera gets put at right back. None of that made any sense. Right? All you have to do is the simple thing. So my only message to Mikel, who is brilliant and is on the verge of greatness, is don't overthink these things, right? If we get an injury to a key player and we have somebody on the bench who literally plays in that position at a high level, put them in that position and don't overthink it.
Piers, the goal yesterday that wasn't given to West Ham, a lot of fans have says Arsenal have scored so many goals this season by doing the exact same foul on goalkeepers. Do you agree on that?
Well, look, I've spent the season, in fact, the last few seasons, absolutely hammering VAR as one of the most disgraceful, shocking, inconsistent, outrageous and pathetic inventions in the history of world sport. And I would like to make a sincere and humble apology right now to VAR, which I think is a massively misunderstood, brilliant invention that I think should be the template for world sport for the next few decades. No, look, let's be serious. I think that I don't like VAR. I think VAR has sucked the joy out of watching football. I think the constant delays, the constant waiting around, the constant ruining of magical moments because you're never quite sure if it's going to count. I don't like any of it. And I would rather go back, honestly, to the days when we relied on a guy in a black outfit who was going to decide whether it was a goal or not, and with the help of his linesman. Because VAR, I don't think any real football fan likes this because it's so inconsistent. And ultimately, it depends anyway on human beings who've shown themselves to be remarkably frail when it comes to making good decisions. Now, having said that, yesterday, I felt that they made the right decision. They took 5 minutes to get there, and obviously as an Arsenal fan, I would say that. But most independent observers think that there was a clear, I think, double foul on Ray. You've got Pablo with his arm trying to throttle him, and you've got another guy pulling his shirt from the back. So I think it was definitely a foul. But has it been consistent? Have Arsenal got away with murder with similar situations, particularly from our corners where we've been barreling into goalkeepers and defenders all season? Of course it's wrong. Of course the whole thing has been inconsistent. Of course, if I was a West Ham fan right now, then I would be feeling absolutely sickened that Arsenal have managed to be the beneficiary of something that we have been the beneficiary of the other way all season. So I don't like it. I think VAR should be scrapped. But right now, as an Arsenal fan, if it's helped us win the league, happy days.
Piers, thanks very much. Have a good week.
Thank you, Piers.
Come on, you Gunners. History beckons.
Press the red button. Put him down.
Ollie, who is an Arsenal fan, Ollie describes himself as an annoyed Arsenal fan, says, practice some humility, Piers.
Yeah.
Your lack of grace makes the rest of us hated and vilified by all other football fans.
They're unbearable at times, Arsenal fans. That's the problem other fans have with them, because they will win the Premier League and we won't hear the end of it.
Yeah, Martin says, I've driven through 6 red lights, gone off the road twice and broken the car park barrier so I could avoid listening to Piers Morgan gloat. Thank you very much indeed, Martin. But look, remember, he's going to, if they lose to PSG in the Champions League, he's going to be back on withdrawing his comments that they are one of the greatest squads in history.
Incredible.
You can hear whether Arsenal's next game, Burnley, of course, at the Emirates a week today. Whether that is the game where they absolutely clinch the title, it's live and exclusive on talkSPORT. And we'll also be in Budapest for that Champions League final against PSG on May the 30th. Up, though, next we have some exciting news for talkSPORT.
Real Madrid striker Kylian Mbappe, who has faced criticism from his own fans after taking a trip to Italy on a mega yacht with his partner. He's recovering from a hamstring injury he suffered on April the 24th and was given some days off last week. He arrived back in Madrid on Sunday, shortly before kick-off, when Madrid played away against Espanyol. Many fans thought Mbappe should not have taken a break and should have stuck with the team, going through a difficult time at this particular time. Alvaro Arbeloa said, well, in their free time, each player does what they see fit, and I don't get involved with that. Mbappe's representative said part of the criticism was based on an over-interpretation of elements related to a recovery period, strictly supervised by the club, without reflecting the reality of Kylian's commitment and the work that he puts in every day for the team. So that was Mbappe and Real Madrid. But then there's Liverpool. What was going on with them? Danny's old club. Liverpool captain Virgil van Dijk had to defend some of his teammates who were criticised for being abroad last week on a day off as they headed into the Manchester United game, a game they ultimately lost by 3-2. It was put to Van Dijk that some of his teammates had gone on holiday last week. He says, I'm not sure it was a holiday, it was a city trip. But I think if you're one day off and you don't have many days off, then you decide what you want to do with your family. We're not kids. Everyone's an adult. I wish we had a couple more days off at times because I think it works both ways.
Good morning. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with myself, Jeff Stelling and Gabby Agbonlahor at 8:21. Mark just texted me, said, morning, guys. I nearly choked my breakfast when Piers said Saka would get in the PSG team.
Timber over Hakimi.
Interesting. Stephen Kent says the fuss and moaning on your show is pathetic. The agenda against Arsenal is a joke, and that's why we've just had Piers Morgan on.
Yeah.
10 minutes.
Perry Groves was on as well.
Thank you very much indeed. And Perry Groves before that. Now, look, a very special treat for all of you talkSPORT Drive fans this week, because Andy Goldstein's joining the breakfast team every day from Tuesday to Friday. And he'll bring some brilliant guests with him, including Paul Scholes, comedian and West Ham fan James Corden, who'll be here in the studio, and Jack Wilshere will join him later in the week as well. So Andy Goldstein on talkSPORT Breakfast all this week from tomorrow. And a reminder that a new episode of his podcast with Jason Cundy, 21 minutes to go, is available right now. Right, let's get the latest stories with Coral and a happy John Hill.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for the fans this season. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
John, good morning to you.
Good morning,
Morning,
gents.
John.
I'm on absolute cloud nine this morning, I have to say. Woke up this morning pinching myself. Was it true? Did it happen yesterday? And it certainly did. We're back in the Football League, boys.
Yeah, and look, well done to you, mate. Congratulations.
Thank you.
With 12 minutes to go and you're 2-0 down, what are you thinking?
Honestly, I thought it's over. I was preparing my, speech for this morning. We go again next season, so to speak. We lift ourselves up. But, this season, we've just done it time after time, playing to the final whistle. As you're taught as a kid, Gabby, you play to the end, don't you? And that team just... They've done it all year, and they did it again yesterday. And Manny Desaruve, deservedly, yeah. And what a player he is, Jeff. We managed to poach up your boys.
It wasn't good enough for Hartlepool, mate. It wasn't good enough for Hartlepool, so we let him go.
Oh, he's just
laughable.
been brilliant. You know, he assisted the first goal yesterday, and then he assisted the first goal yesterday, and then got the equaliser to push us to extra time and then penalties. My nerves, honestly, boys, I was absolutely shaking during those penalties, but we managed to do it, and here we are, Football League again.
I love the way Jimmy McNulty said that, after the York game, which must have been absolutely shattering.
Yeah.
He and the boys all went out for a few drinks, and sort of partied as if they won, if you like, to create that team bond. And you've got to give credit to the manager. He's done a fantastic job.
Unbelievable credit, because many players, I think, after that disappointment, that would have been it for the season. But he reminded them what a special season it had been. Record points, 106 points. We deserved to be in the position we were in, and you've got to enjoy those occasions. In many ways, going up at Wembley was even more special, boys. To do it at the home of national football. Not many, fans get the chance to do that, do they? That was the first time we'd ever done it in terms of winning there. So. We've created something special, and I don't think it had changed it. I'm happy we went through that roller coaster, and we came out the other side with a victory, and all celebrated.
Yeah, well done, mate. I know you're going to miss your trip to Hartlepool next season. Hey.
Come on, get yourself up next season, Jeff, and hopefully, I'm still an advocate of free up, despite being back in the Football League now. They should be free up in that league. It's absolutely scandalous. So I'll still be rooting for that campaign.
Massive game tonight, isn't there? Spurs could be really close to survival with a win. What are the odds, mate?
Yeah, huge game, and obviously we had massive implications yesterday, didn't we, at West Ham game? That late equalise, that point could have been a big difference at the end of the season. But Spurs will be looking to try and go 4 points clear of West Ham. They're actually odds on tonight, 4-5 Spurs for the victory in this one. Leeds had a great season, it has to be said. It was only 2 or 3 weeks ago we were talking about Leeds in the relegation betting, but they've turned it on at the right stage of the season. They're 16-5 to prevail tonight. The draw 14-5, and just to finish off in terms of the relegation betting, West Ham, I'm afraid to say, Hammers fans, you're as short as 1-7 now in the relegation betting. Spurs 9-2, very short.
Very short, and I'm Spurs. I'm going to offend the other side of North London as well. Spurs are ridiculously short for a side who've won 2 of their 17 home games this season. I think people think Leeds might be on the beach. I don't think that's going to be the case.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. Yeah, it's fair play to De Zerbi. I think he has lifted him when he's come in. He's given them a bit of life. But I completely agree with you. Leeds have done very well, and they will not be on the beach tonight. They'll want to finish the season very strongly.
Well, the goal difference as well, isn't it? It's 2 points, isn't it? More than one. But
it is.
You're
right
agree
there.
with Jeff, though. If Spurs, even if they draw tonight, I still think West Ham can go and beat Newcastle away, and then Leeds at home. And Spurs have got Chelsea. Tough game.
Big game at the Den tonight as well, with the second leg of the playoff semi-final between Millwall and Hull. It was a difficult watch, that first leg.
Oh, it was.
But it finished goalless, so it could go out. Can you separate them in the betting?
Well, in terms of tonight, we say 4-5 Millwall to prevail. Obviously, home advantage now. Hull 3-1. And as you say, it was cagey on Friday. You can kind of forgive that, can't you? There's a lot at stake here. Chance to get to Wembley, chance for promotion. And they tend to be, don't they, these first legs. Hopefully this will open up a little bit more tonight. An early goal might just help. But in terms of to qualify, Millwall 2-5, Hull 9-5. So yeah, we very much think Millwall are favourites after that first leg. But you just never know, do you? If Hull get an early goal, as I mentioned, things could be a lot different. So a lot at stake tonight in this one for Millwall and Hull fans.
John, thanks very much indeed. Have a great week. I know you will. Have a great summer. I know you will.
Cheers, boys. Really appreciate it. Have a good one.
Thank you. Rochdale fan John Hill. That was a look at the latest odds with Coral. 18+, gambleaware.org.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for the fans this season. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Just want to squeeze in a quick text, and it's something we haven't mentioned today, and I wanted to actually. And it's from, I think it's just Kay. Says, apologies if already said it, hasn't been. Want to take a minute to praise Elliot Anderson. What a role model and impressive human being. Lost his mum at just 23 years of age. Had to say his final goodbyes in the middle of a relegation fight and European campaign. Dragged his team to a point yesterday against his boyhood club, Newcastle United, and has held himself with such poise throughout. Likely on his way out of Forest in the summer, but fighting through the worst heartache and giving his all every minute he's on the pitch. Someone we will all be getting behind this summer. I thought
100%.
Fantastic again yesterday. Scored a brilliant goal. as well. Do you think he'll start for England?
I think he should do. I think, listen, Jeff, there's going to be certain games where maybe you don't need Rice and Anderson.
Yeah.
But I feel like the crunch games where you're playing the top teams, you need him in there. He can do everything. Win the ball back, score goals like he showed yesterday. He's got, he's quick, can tackle, got everything he has. Really rate him. Top player. Man United get him or Man City get him. It'll be a big part of their successful seasons.
Couldn't agree more. Newcastle fans, it must have been tough for them yesterday, but they gave him a great hand as well, so credit them for that, because they would have loved to have had him in there.
Exactly.
Coming up, we turn our attention to that huge game. We'll have an exclusive on talkSPORT tonight, Spurs against Leeds. Could Leeds do West Ham a favour? We'll just...
I'm going to go Friday after work pint, number 5, mate.
Number 5.
There he is. So do you want it? You ready?
Yeah, go on.
In number 5.
Number 5.
Friday after work pint. You've worked hard all week. You know, you want to go there, just have that first pint. You've earned it.
Number 4.
Beer garden pint. This can happen any time of day.
Good pint.
Any time, any day of the week. Yeah. Saturday afternoon, meet the lads. Sunday afternoon.
Good pint.
Right, sun's got to be
Number 3.
Football pint. The football pint's in. You meet your lads, meeting up Saturday afternoon or Sunday, whatever it is. First pint, in you go. Hey, we're going to get a beer again.
Yeah.
Number 2.
The holiday pint. Mr. O'Hara wants that one. Yeah. When you get there, you've done the journey. You've gone through everything you need to do. Passport, security checks, the journey. You get out, you smell, you feel a bit grubby. Don't care. You get on wherever you get to then you get to your destination. Bags get dropped. Sit there. You've earned this pint.
Yeah, it's a good pint.
Good pint.
That's my favourite.
There you go.
Number 1.
Yeah.
Airport. It's the only one, mate. Airport pint. It's the only one. You're there. It doesn't matter what time. Not with lads. No. Doesn't matter who you're with. If you're with me, 5 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, 3, whatever it is, that's the point.
Do you know what's disappointing in this whole, ranking that we've done?
Have I missed something?
Yeah, well, your missus. There's not one pint that involves your missus. Not one. Where's Hannah in this?
I'm at the airport with her.
No, you're not. You're not at the airport with her. You're with Razor Ruddock.
No, hold on.
Hold on.
Let me
Hannah's involved in none of these pints.
No, hold on. I'm at the airport with her, definitely. I'm definitely with a holiday pint. I'm definitely with football. I'm definitely not.
Amen Corner, perhaps the most feared run of holes in golf. Each year, it claims the tournament hopes of many, with balls hitting bunkers and water traps aplenty. But why is it so fearsome, and where did it get its name? Just the thoughts of holes 11, 12 and 13 at Augusta National gives the likes of Rory McIlroy and Jordan Spieth the shivers. McIlroy hit 3 over and Spieth hit 4 over in their final rounds to blow their hopes of a green jacket in 2011 and 2016 respectively. But did you know Amen Corner's name is inspired by a jazz song from 1933? American sports writer Herbert Warren Wint, on the left here, wrote about it in 1958, referencing the song shouted in that Amen Corner when describing the run. Hole 11 is a par 4 over 520 yards with a green guarded by a pond and bunkers to the front edge. 12, perhaps golf's most famous hole, is a par 3 over just 155 yards. The green's guarded by Rays Creek at the front, more bunkers and azalea bushes ready to punish the smallest error. Then there's the 13th that teases the hook shot over the trees. It's a dogleg par 5 over 545 yards that's inviting for big hitters who want to reach the green in 2. If you want to win the Masters, you have to keep your score down around Amen Corner. So who'll be the next to fall victim to golf's most famous and most daunting challenge?
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Shop the upgrade event today. Get an extra £500 when you part exchange your car. Don't miss your chance to boost your valuation. I'm Jeff Stelling Gabby Agbonlahor is with me. Sean has texted and said, let's talk about Marcus Rashford. Did you see his goal yesterday? I did indeed, yes. Sean. Did you, Gabby?
Yes, fantastic free kick.
Yeah.
Should get a second. He runs through 1v1, doesn't he? But be interested to see where it goes in the summer. We spoke about it earlier, didn't we? 28 years of age, 30 million. You know, this season he stats have been decent, 8 goals, 7 assists in the league. I'm surprised bigger clubs aren't after him, not just Barcelona.
I think he's done pretty well.
I loved him at Villa,
really
Jeff.
Do.
That pace, frightening on the counter-attack. Gets a good move.
Lee has texted as well. He says, boys, if you had the chance of a brand new Ferrari, no strings attached, or £100 million in the bank, but you have to live with Piers Morgan, what colour Ferrari would you have? Thank you very much indeed, Lee. Right, let's head back to the phone lines. Everyone wants to have a say on what happened at the London Stadium yesterday. Martin is a Man United fan. Morning, Martin.
Good morning, Martin.
Morning, chap. I was just bringing in to say that I completely agree with Gabby. You've got the most obnoxious Arsenal fan as a regular on the show, Piers Morgan. Other than that, I would just bring to say that I think what's going on in the penalty area at the moment is nothing short of, well, near on physical violence. And not only that, all this shoulder charging, barging, hitting people in the back. I know we want a contact sport, but we don't want it to be turned into boxing. That's basically my point.
Yeah, Martin, completely agree with you. It's up to the PGMOL to do something about it. They have allowed it to flourish. It's their responsibility. They need to clamp down on it. Chris Foy coming up very shortly indeed. Thanks, Martin. Now, if you're a West Ham fan, something to cheer you up, fancy £25,000 in your hand, tax-free. At talkSPORT, our competitions just get bigger and bigger with even more prizes up for grabs to give you that winning feeling. Head to talksportwin.com to enter and for full T&Cs. Now, after Arsenal's dramatic win over West Ham yesterday, it's all eyes on Spurs tonight as they could move 4 points clear of the drop.
West Ham stay in the bottom 3. It finishes here on what feels like a defining afternoon. West Ham 0, Arsenal 1.
Which way will the relegation battle swing next?
Tottenham Hotspur are 2-0 up at Aston Villa. The Spurs club motto is to dare is to do. But for most of the season, they haven't done anything, but they're doing it now.
This is the first time I thought they're going to stay up.
We must remain humble. Nothing changes.
West Ham will be relegated before Spurs play Chelsea.
And turned in! Leeds have got a third goal! Leeds are going to be safe in the Premier League.
43 points feels really good, I have to say.
Leeds will spend again, and they will spend big.
I think the manager's done tremendous for our football club.
Massive injection and hope in this relegation dogfight.
If we put on that for the rest of the season, we will be okay.
Huge night at the bottom of the table. You can hear it right here on talkSPORT. If Spurs win, the gap would be 4 points, but they've won just twice at home all season long. For more on the game tonight, I'm delighted to say we're joined by a man who played almost 100 times for Spurs. It's a very good morning to Gus Poyet. Morning, Gus.
Good morning, Gus.
Morning, Jeff, Gabby. Nice to be with you.
And you, mate. What are you made of De Zerbi so far at Spurs? Do you think they've improved under him?
Well, yes, definitely, yes. I said it last time I was talking to you that when you change a coach, you need a reaction. Unfortunately, it didn't happen with Igor Tudor. Nobody knew, because it's true that we didn't know about Roberto middle of the season, but not even middle of the season, end of the season, how he can implement his way of playing football, how he will simplify his style just to win football games straight away. And he has done it. So now we have a great opportunity tonight. I mean, if he wins tonight, I would say that, more than half of the job is done.
Of course, I said this in the recent weeks about these Spurs players. Some of them now are getting game time who would have been knocking on the manager's door. I need more game time. Richarlison, Tell. They've got to show up, haven't they? They have against Wolves. Obviously, Wolves relegated. Aston Villa didn't really turn up, rested a lot of players. But tonight, their home form's been so poor. Go and show up and prove to the manager that he should have been starting you early on in the season.
100% agree with you, Gabby. We always say, and I'm happy to say it, I thought about when I was a player that we were responsible. And I'm still thinking that, the ones that they play is the players, now that I'm a coach. Obviously, we pay the price because we are the coaches and it's easier to sack the coach. But I think that there is many. I think Palhinha, it was a player that was expecting to be playing all the time because of his character. And it was in and out, central defender. I was surprised. Gallagher, when Gallagher came back, you were thinking he's a perfect player to play every single game, relegation battle. And he was sometimes on the bench as well. Now you're saying about Richardson as well. So there is players that they have the characteristics to help the team to win. With character, with running, with passion, with, fight. Because you cannot really play too nice football at the bottom. These kind of games, they are more emotional than anything. And you need to be strong enough mentally to win it. So great opportunity, especially after the result yesterday and after the end of the game between West Ham and Arsenal.
Look, it is a great opportunity, but as you know, Gus, nothing will be absolutely decided this evening. And Tottenham's next game is away to Chelsea, a fixture you know a lot about. And Chelsea love to make things tough for Tottenham.
I will tell you that most of the Chelsea fans, they were expecting Tottenham to go there, maybe with the possibility to go down.
Oh, Gus has frozen on us.
No.
Oh, goodness me.
Like you said there, though, Chelsea fans, they wanted that game to be, if Chelsea beat Spurs, they're relegated. I don't think that's going to happen.
No, I think it's still going to go. Look, if Chelsea can beat Spurs, West Ham win at Newcastle, it goes to the last game of the season, and that's what the neutrals will want. Tottenham, they're going to be nervy tonight against Leeds.
100%. Well, have we got him back?
Yeah. Sorry,
Yes,
Gus. Yeah,
sorry.
so you were just saying a lot of Chelsea fans would have expected Spurs to be, battling for their lives, which they still are.
Yes, but different with 4 points ahead, that being maybe in a different position. So I think the Spurs needs to win tonight. That's the main point. And maybe it's a different game against Chelsea. If it was with 1 point difference or even in the bottom three, Spurs, it would be a dangerous game for the both sets of supporters. So let's hope nothing happens.
Of course, we talk about the Chelsea game coming up, and Chelsea have got obviously a cup final. But you played and was a success at Chelsea. Have you ever seen a group of players that maybe the fans don't like because they turn up for the cup games, the league games? They've been so poor. To lose 6 games in a row in the Premier League for a club like Chelsea, unacceptable, isn't it, Gus?
Yeah, totally. And I would say that because I was part of it before Abramovich, and it was a different situation for us. We were winning cups, but not obviously the Premier League. And it was unacceptable for us to lose 6 games in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And for this group of players, with players, £100 million, I mean, it's really strange to understand. But football gives you these chances, Gabby. Great opportunity. You win the cup. Exactly. And you are in the history. So it's so quick you can change the history. That is amazing football.
Yeah. Going to be a nervous night, nevertheless, isn't it, at the Tottenham Stadium this evening? They wouldn't be human if they weren't a little bit edgy, Gus.
No, better in this situation. I was there this season twice. I was at the derby. I mean, it was really, really bad. And then, you could see that something was not going on. I think now it could be a different atmosphere, especially in the first half an hour. And if the team starts well, I think they had a great chance to win. Saying that, let's not forget that Leeds has been outstanding away from season. The last 10 games, it's been outstanding. So careful, because they are in a great situation to go and perform.
Well, of course, as well, you look at 2 home wins in the Premier League this season. That stadium, why can't Spurs look at that stadium? It's one of the best stadiums in the world, and use the fans' energy to perform. It's unacceptable to only win 2 home games in the Premier League all season.
Maybe they should play at Wembley. Do you remember when they went to Wembley and they complained?
Yes.
Now maybe they should go back. That's mental, Gabby. You know that. Mm-hmm. It's mental. It's not a problem of football players. It's not about quality. It's not about system. It's not about coaches. It's the mental when you are there and things they don't go well. That's when you need the strong players to stand up and show that they are capable of winning.
Gus, thanks for joining us.
Gus, appreciate it, mate.
Thank you, sir.
Just going to quickly mention, before we leave Spurs against Leeds, great season. For me, Ethan Ampadu has been one of the standout players of the season. And I don't just mean for Leeds. I mean, one of the Premier League standout players. Every time I've seen him this season, he's been outstanding. And I wasn't his biggest fan prior to this season, but I am now. I just think he's been fantastic.
Totally agree, and he's been a big important player for them this season. And Leeds now, Jeff, in the summer is so important. You've got a chance now to get rid of the dead wood. You know, maybe players like Dan James, Nonto, these sort of players, you probably look at and say, can we fill our bench with better players in the transfer window? And why can't they push up the league?
Yeah.
Why can't they look at what Nottingham Forest did when they got back into the Premier League? You stay up that first season and you go again. So good luck for Leeds next season.
Live commentary of Spurs against Leeds tonight right here on talkSPORT. Build up from 7. Still to come on breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Benchmarks Kitchens and Joinery. Get trade prices on kitchens to suit all styles and budgets at Benchmarks.
Thousands and thousands of opinions over the decision yesterday to rule out West Ham's would have been equalising goal against Arsenal. Former Premier League referee Chris Foy is on the way to talk about that next. And that was our breakfast preview with Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. With pay-as-you-go hire from Travis Perkins, you can get straight on with the job. Available nationwide at all hire branches.
Jason Cunningham was alongside Jeremy O'Hara on the Sports Bar after the game. He said he can see Arsenal shutting PSG down in the final.
Teta will not allow a basketball match. He won't. He won't.
Is it going to be a tactically defence then?
No, it won't be tactically defence, but I think that Arsenal, they're measured. Arsenal control games. They don't. Now, Arsenal are brilliant at doing that. They can be at times dull to watch because of that, but in a one-off game, who cares? I think Luis Enrique would probably want it to be a more open affair. I don't think Arteta will allow it.
Not the game we were expecting last night. You pointed out there, I said over 4.5 goals. I did think they're a bit well done to PSG and Luis Enrique for shutting out the game.
Yeah.
I mean, that proved there's another side to them, right?
Yeah, they can dig in when they need to. I mean, it helps they've got wonderful footballers. And I guess when you get a goal so early after 3 minutes with that attacking front line, it doesn't make the job easier. But when you've got the pace of Kvaratskhelia and Dembele, Doué can run, you've got Vitinha in the middle of the park, it does help the fact that you could just sit in there and defend because the counter-attack, no one's catching you. You're being behind them. So, yeah, it's gonna be fascinating now to see what happens in the final. PSG was probably the team I didn't want. I'd prefer Bayern. But now it's PSG. You've got to go out there and put a performance in. It's going to be difficult. And I've said it before. I think Arsenal to win this fixture potentially may have to be perfect in terms of they may have to put in the best performance they've ever put in under Mikel Arteta in any competition.
Is that the only way you can see Arsenal winning, by playing the best they've ever played?
I think they have to think defensively. They have to be rock solid. No,
well, they are pretty much like that anyway.
Yeah, but there's still times you give it. Like if you give that sort of opportunity to Dembele, he ain't missing that.
No, you're right.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling Gabby Agbonlahor is with me 10 minutes away from 9 o'clock Monday, May the 11th. So VAR was once again the focus of attention yesterday in the game at the London Stadium. It's dominated headlines, it's divided fan bases after West Ham stoppage time equaliser was ruled out for a foul on David Raya by Pablo after a 4 to 5 minute long VAR check. Chris Kavanagh was the man in charge. Darren England was the VAR. Let's talk about it. It's a very good morning to a man who officiated over 250 Premier League games himself, Chris Foy. Morning, Chris.
Morning, Chris.
Hey, good morning, boys. You well?
Yeah, we're well, mate. So look, let's get straight down to it. I thought it's a foul on the goalkeeper, but on the other hand, I can see at least two other offences going on in there which probably should have been penalties. How the PGMOL allowed this to happen to the game that we all love? You know, their refusal to penalise clear offences has sort of come back to haunt them and cause this dispute, hasn't it?
It's an interesting question, Jeff. I think at the start of the season, we saw quite a few offences of holding that were punished, and we've seen them sporadically through the rest of the season. And I think, you know, there's been some that's been missed by their own admittance. But I think with this situation, what people are doing is that they're comparing and contrasting other incidents that we've seen. But you can't do this alone. I mean, grappling, holding at corners has become untidy, as we all know. I think what you've got to do is identify the ones that are really clear. You know, those acts that have a clear material impact. But this one yesterday, as you quite rightly say, was a foul on David Raya.
I think, though, the problem, Chris, a lot of fans are having is that Arsenal have been doing this all season. There was the first game of the season against Manchester United. There was one against Villa, similar incidents, and no foul given.
Yeah, I mean, you're always going to get situations where people will compare and contrast incidents and situations, and some will have been judged correctly, some will have been incorrect, and there'll have been an admittance of that. But I think if we focus on yesterday, I think that was a clear foul, you know, by Pablo on Raya. And that's where people get frustrated. It is consistency.
And well, let's focus on yesterday then, Chris, because in that same incident, did you not see that Trossard had both of his arms wrapped around Pablo to try and prevent him getting to the ball?
What the VAR does, they look at that incident, and as you say, it took, excuse me, between 4 and 5 minutes there to look at that specific thing. And a lot of these incidents happened sort of after the Raya situation. I think that we talk about this material impact on the goalkeeper. I mean, I don't see a corner kick taken in any game now where there isn't some form of physical contact. But when you've got that clear situation on the goalkeeper where he's not allowed to jump, his arm, you know, Pablo's arms across his chest, he's grabbing his arm, he can't get to the ball.
Yeah, I mean, the obvious thing, Chris, was, and I accept that, but the obvious thing was quite clearly the Trossard incident on Pablo wasn't after Raya was fouled, because it was before Pablo had got to Raya at all. So it preceded it, you know. And it seems like, you know, you boys from the PGMOL, get your heads together to tell us precisely the story which you want to believe. It's like propaganda.
I wouldn't say it's propaganda, Jeff. I think what you've got to deal with is the clear act of holding on the goalkeeper. Where, I mean, there was lots going on. There was a mention of Declan Rice at the back, where he's round the back, but the goalkeeper's foul before him. It's detecting that major incident that occurred in that situation, and that's the one on the goalkeeper. I mean, crikey, I mean, the way it is at the minute, these are really difficult situations, but I think we should give some credit here to the VAR and the referee.
Yeah. Was Trossard fouling Pablo, in your view?
There's contact. I mean, there's contact.
So was he fouling him?
Isn't it?
Was Trossard fouling Pablo?
In my opinion, he's got a hold on him, as other people have. But
so he was fouling him. He was fouling him.
So hang on a minute then, Jeff. Let's just flip this and let's talk about the West Ham goalkeeper who didn't challenge for the ball and smashed into Gabriel. You can take it anywhere you want this.
Declan
Rice.
What
you've got to do is
grabbing Mavropanos.
I think that came afterwards, Gabby. I think what we've got to do, as I said, is focus on the clear material impact on the goalkeeper. There's not many people saying it's not a foul. And I am with this. I think we shouldn't, we shouldn't detract. We shouldn't detract from this. It's a foul on the goalkeeper. It's a material impact. It's a non-footballing action. He's got his arm across his chest. He's grabbing his arm. It's the right decision.
I mean, I felt for Chris Kavanagh because he's standing looking at that screen. He knows the significance of this decision. I'm thinking he's thinking I haven't a clue what to do here, because he was put in an impossible situation. And I'll be honest with you, Chris. Look, all of this stuff, grappling, the fact that the PGMOL have done nothing about. You said sporadically. They've done things about it. Well, that shouldn't be the case. That's what people are talking about consistently. Consistency. You cannot do something sporadically. Surely a foul is a foul is a foul, and it is on the first day of the season, and it is as well at the beginning of May.
I think what you've done, you misunderstood what I've said there, Jeff. We've seen some really positive interventions with holding this season, and as I said, some have been missed. And there's been an admittance of that. But I think everybody's got a part to play in this. I mean, when Gabby played and I refereed, if he was stood in front of the goalkeeper, nudging the goalkeeper, I blow the whistle before the corner comes in. Is Gabby going to change his tack? Are you going to change your tack, Gabby? Are you going to stand there in front of the goalkeeper? Does it have any effect when I come in and speak to you?
I think it will do because you don't want a foul to be given. Your job is to put the keeper off, but you've been warned. You're probably going to be like, okay, I've got to be a bit wise here, or he's just going to give a foul.
Do you think referees should move in before a corner's taken and warn the players, or just give penalties?
I just think, don't warn them. You think it's a penalty. You think it's a foul on the keeper. But a lot of the fan bases, apart from Arsenal fans, just look at so many times this season, Arsenal have scored goals from corners, free kicks, wherever it is, from nudging keepers, pushing keepers, arms in keepers' faces, and the goals have still stood. And you see that yesterday, and you're like, you feel for West Ham. You feel for it. Is that enough? Like Jeff says, the foul on Mavropanos, Trossard on Pablo. It's such chaos in the box in the last seconds of the game. Do you say to yourself, listen, there's so many fouls going on, I'm not going to take the goal away from West Ham?
No, you can only judge it on what you see. I mean, that was what happened yesterday. But quite clearly, this has become a massive talking point, hasn't it? Holding at corners or grappling, as people say. And I think, at the end of the season, it's something that will be looked at. I think everybody needs to have an understanding of what is and what isn't acceptable, because there's always contact at corner kicks, isn't there? Whether it be an attacker who's trying to create space or a defender who's making sure they're touch tight. It's really, really tough.
Mm. And Nuno, the West manager, said afterwards, even referees don't know what's a foul and what isn't these days. Look, Chris, thank you very much indeed.
Top man, Chris.
Cheers, lads. Have a great day.
You too, mate.
You too.
Chris is thinking, I've got more stick than the referee that made the decision.
Yeah, because I think, a lot of people have sympathy with Chris Kavanagh that he was put in such a difficult position. He'd given the goal. He gave the goal.
And the thing as well, Jeff, if you ask the referee, Chris Kavanagh, he would have been looking at the goalkeeper. So his first look, he's got the best look live. No, that's not enough for me. It's a goal. He's not going to be looking at Mavropanos and Declan Rice. He's not going to be looking at Trossard. He's looking at Pablo and saying, not enough for me to disallow it. Let's let the referees make some decisions themselves.
Yeah. Former Premier League referee Chris Foy with us.
Or Chris.
Coming up, we're taking your calls on this. 03717 223344 is the number to have.
Let me apologise immediately if there's any smugness or glee from my co-host today. But you are used to Alex Crook by now. But Gabby Agbonlahor is also very happy. Put your cigar down. Great performance. Well done. Congratulations.
Very much, thank you.
Do you reckon you could manage to be just a little bit humble because, you know, you haven't won anything?
Yeah, we haven't won anything yet, but, you know, Nottingham Forest fans, last Friday, the messages you were reading out, Sam, the callers, the direct messages on every possible social media platform I was getting, celebrating the fireworks. They had a concert after the game, only to get thumped on probably the most one-sided semi-final second leg you will ever see. Thumped. Couldn't get out of their own half. Light work for Aston Villa. Who's next?
I heard you having a go at the Arsenal fans this week, and Arsenal for having fireworks after they'd got through to the final in Budapest. I noticed, and I had pointed it out to you at least 3 times this week, that Villa have fireworks before every game, and they had fireworks before the semi-final last
fireworks, mate. They're like sparklers that you have on your champagne when you're in a nightclub.
Might be on your champagne.
Yeah, they weren't fireworks. They're like little ones. What did the manager do after the game?
I don't know.
Emery?
It was definitely.
He clapped the fans for about 3 seconds and walked down the tunnel.
Okay, well, it was
Mikel
a champagne
Arteta
performance, wasn't it?
Was doing the Haymack Arena around the stadium. They're doing a tour of the stadium. You know,
he's quite used to getting to Europa League finals, so.
The Premier League's profit and sustainability rules are sold to us as financial fair play, a way to keep clubs from going bust. But there are those who feel it's starting to look a lot like a system that protects the big boys and keeps the rest in their lane. Here's how it works and why people feel that way. So clubs can only lose 105 million quid over 3 years, which sounds fair, but here's the kicker. Your limit includes how much you earn. So if you're one of the traditional top 6, you've got massive global revenue streams and you can spend way more while still technically following the rules. Meanwhile, ambitious clubs who've got money like Newcastle, Villa or Forest, well, they're bringing a knife to a gunfight. Newcastle might be backed by Saudi billions, but they just can't splurge the cash. Their commercial income isn't there yet. Want to buy world-class talent? Well, PSR says to them, your owner might have the money, but you're not making enough in shirt sales in Asia for that. The Magpies won their first domestic trophy since 1955, qualified for the Champions League, which you'd think would be a great springboard for them to go on and start building a team to challenge at the top. But because of PSR restraints, they couldn't break their wage structure for a new Alexander Isak contract, and look what's happened there. Nottingham Forest tried to invest to survive, they did that, but they got punished anyway. Meanwhile, clubs like Spurs, until last season, hadn't won a trophy in over 18 years, but because they rake in cash from the new stadium, they get a much bigger PSR allowance than a newly promoted club who are just trying to stay up. And let's not forget the loopholes these big boys are exploiting. Chelsea found the trick with those long contracts, selling the women's team. City are masters of related party sponsorships. Etihad this, Etisalat that, all within the rules, and fair play to them for capitalising on those opportunities. But what about the smaller clubs? They don't have that luxury. Now look, financial sustainability matters. Nobody wants another Bury or Morecambe situation. But there's increasing concern that rather than levelling the playing field, the current rules cement the existing hierarchy. So what's the solution? Well, either loosen the reins so ambitious clubs can spend within their means, or cap spending based on something other than revenue. Otherwise, we're just watching the same 6 teams swapping silverware most seasons while the rest play musical chairs for 7th. And that, folks, ain't what the Premier League was built on.
Good morning. 6 minutes past 9. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Buy a used car and get a free 2-year service plan plus an extra £500 when you part exchange. Shop the upgrade event today. I'm Jeff Stelling. Gabby Agbonlahor is with me. And Gabby, great to hear from Big Al on the news there.
Yes.
That he is getting
better. Yes, great news.
Yeah.
Can't wait for him to come back, mate.
No, absolutely.
Yep, legend.
I think the public think that as well. So
no,
they do. They really
they love everyone on talkSPORT, mate.
Rightly. Well, Chris Foy's getting some absolute pelters, I'm afraid, at the moment. Yeah. Craig says Chris Foy can't even answer a yes or no foul question, Jeff, without waffling on. James, who's an LFC fan, says, quick one I've not heard this morning. Do you think the foul is a clear and obvious error from the referee? I don't know if it is, so why have VAR got involved? Chris sounded like a politician who couldn't give a straight answer. Yes. Mark says, well done for challenging the trained referee. Replies, Jeff, for him to try and claim the Raya foul happened before anything else is laughable. Yes. Plenty more as well.
Jeff, can I just say so as well? Like I've literally just opened my social media, Instagram, and I've got a post on there with Acorns, local children's hospice. And I've become an ambassador for the charity. And literally just seconds ago, someone's put a comment on there saying, all I can see, and then monkey, ape, signs next to it, emojis. These social media companies have to do something about it. It's that easy just to do that on someone's social media. I can take any name you want to call me.
No.
Do you know what I mean? But doing things like that, and it's just, no problem. Nothing's going to be done about it. And I think the players that are playing now, they must go through that all the time. Semenyo in recent weeks, Gahey, after he made a mistake. So there needs to be something done.
Gabby, it's despicable and completely unacceptable. But, talking to the social media companies about doing something about it is like banging your head against a wall.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that, mate.
Yeah, it's okay, mate.
Right, let's go back. We mentioned Chris Foy, phone lines I was going to say exploded. It's been like this all morning. We have thousands and thousands of texts. Thank you for all of them, by the way. Sorry we haven't been able to read them all out. We tried to give a bit of a balance, some positive, some negative. Let's hear from an Arsenal fan, Chris. Good morning, Chris.
Morning, Chris.
Morning, gents. Morning. Gabby, sorry, first thing, mate, so you shouldn't have to put up with rubbish like that on your social media. So you stay strong, mate, and you keep calling it out when you see it.
It's fine, mate. No problem.
Yeah.
But listen, on another note, Gabby, mate, what is it? Is it because you never beat Arsenal as a player that you have to hate on them so badly?
I wanted to play for you. Yeah, it was.
Because all I'm hearing is how terrible these decisions are. Yet you're not talking about Bernardo Silva not getting sent off on Saturday. These decisions happen with Man City. Yeah. You don't say a word.
Gabriel headbutting Haaland and not getting sent off.
Again, not something you haven't seen before, is it? But I agree, he should have been sent off.
Yeah.
Look, Chris, I think Chris, you're right. And a lot of people have mentioned, the fact that Man City, could have had 1/2 players even sent off the weekend, and I think it would have been a big topic of conversation, and maybe should have been, had the events at the London Stadium not happened, and had Man City not won 3-0 in the end. And maybe that's wrong, but I think those are the reasons that wasn't mentioned. But yeah, there's certainly a case there that Bernardo Silva should have gone.
That's all you agree.
I've got to be honest with you. It seems to me that what happens is everyone at talkSPORT is anti-Arsenal apart from Martin Keown, and he's obviously too far the other way.
Yeah, now, Chris, it's a persecution complex because we don't have skin in the fight at all. No. And I can't speak for Gabby. I'll speak for myself. I'm not anti-Arsenal in any way, shape, or form, any more than I am pro-Manchester City or anti-this or anti-that. I've got no skin in the fight at all.
If you listen to the whole show, early one, Piers Morgan was on. How fantastic was Odegaard for the goal for Trossard, the assist. It's not just anti-Arsenal, but when you watch football now and you're seeing goals like that taken away, I just think everyone was fouling in the box. The keepers are protected so much, and Arsenal have been doing it all season and getting away with it. I think that's more the issue, Chris.
Let's get the other perspective and speak to Steve, who's a West Ham fan. Morning, Steve.
Morning, Steve.
Morning, gents. How are you?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Yeah, what did you think of it?
Yeah, basically, I mean, I was there. I go with my wife, 2 kids, and my sister, season ticket holders. And the times this season with VAR, but just going on yesterday's, I mean, the fella in front of me, he went missing for 30 seconds when we scored. He'd actually gone mad. Then he's come back and he's walked out of the ground dejected. I think it's disgusting. I mean, I'm just going to reiterate what you've all said this morning. I mean, Arsenal have been doing it all season, and as soon as it's done, I mean, Arteta first was claiming handball, and then all of a sudden he's realised he's just trying to get any reason to get it disallowed, and they're looking to disallow goals, and I think it's just ruining the game. I mean, West Ham yesterday deserved the point out of the game. They scored a goal at the end, which should have stood, and Jeff, you've said it quite a few times this morning, which is brilliant, and just said it to Foy that was on a minute ago. The foul on that Trossard on Pablo is before anything's on Raya. It's absolutely before that. The Rice one you can argue to and fro, but the actual Trossard one, which Pablo sort of tries to spin out of, where he's got him looking the other way, is actually then he jumps with Raya. So the foul's before. So if by letter of the law, it's a penalty. Worst case. Yeah. Or, like you say, there's so much going on in the box, just let the goal stand. That's the goal. There's so much going on in there.
Steve, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Steve.
We'll squeeze one more in. And, if West Ham fans think they've got problems, Adam's a Wolves fan. Morning, Adam.
Morning, Adam.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate. Yeah. What have you got to tell us?
Well, 2 things. I mean, VAR was brought in to be clear and obvious, and yesterday was not clear and obvious. The referee didn't clearly get it wrong. It wasn't obvious that he got it wrong. And secondly, VAR is a matter of opinion. That referee's opinion on the pitch was, that is not a foul, I'm going to give that goal. It goes through to VAR, it goes through to another human being sitting watching it, and he's seeing the same thing, but he may have a different opinion.
Agreed.
And this is where, and then the referee sometimes is sent to the screen, and he feels that he needs to overturn that because somebody else has brought something else into the light. And this is where VAR is not clear and obvious, and it's ruining the game because there's 2 different people's opinions on it. I don't care who wins the title, whether it's Man City or Arsenal, mainly because Wolves ain't in it next year. We're going to be having a few more local derbies. I'm happy about that. But, I don't care who wins the title, but I think that goal should have been given. The referee, he was
position,
clear
didn't he?
that should have been a goal.
See it live.
Yeah.
Yeah, massively, yeah.
One piece of good news for you next season, Adam, no VAR, okay?
I'm delighted about that bit.
Yes.
Good, yeah. Thanks very much indeed, Adam.
Cheers,
a lot of support for you about the abuse on social media.
Yeah,
Michael says, huge respect to Gabby for calling it out. Behaviour is horrible. Should be brought up every time. Gabby, you're a legend. Stay strong, mate. Mark said, report him, Gabby. Keep your head up trying to do good. And Skoda says, ignore them, Gabby. You're worth 100 of them. Yeah. Absolutely. A reminder of the good news this morning, if you missed it. Alan Brazil's tweeted this morning saying that after a life-saving operation, he is on the mend and will see us all very soon, which is great news for everyone.
Would have enjoyed that as well yesterday, Celtic.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Big win.
Yeah. Will he enjoy next weekend?
Oh.
I just hope that next weekend, when he gets to Selly again, Hart, it's not decided by VAR.
Oh, imagine.
Oh, no. Well, if it is, I'm not coming on Monday, okay? Coming up, we turn our attention back to one of the great heavyweight fights of recent years.
Content creator and Palace fan Ollie Thomas is with us this morning. A very good morning to you, Ollie. How are you?
Morning, Ollie.
Morning. I'm good. I'm a bit tired, as you can imagine, but
I'm good. And thanks, Dean. You're right. We are the best fans in the world.
It's debatable. It's debatable, Ollie. I'm joking. I have a soft spot for Palace. My sister plays for Palace. They just got promoted. And yeah, I mean, fair play to them. Your manager, I mean, the fact that he is leaving and he might win a third trophy before he goes is crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. It's obviously sad that he's going, but I think it could have turned a bit sour and did turn a bit sour at the start of the calendar year. And fair play to Steve Parish, who held his own and didn't sack him. And it's now kind of become a nice send-off. And I think everyone wants to win it for Glasner as well, rather than it being like a bitter goodbye, I suppose. I think we've channeled that departure really well. And yeah, I'm feeling confident. It's weird watching a Palace team that just repeatedly turns up in big games. Like, I'm just not used to it. Every single big game we've basically ever had under Glasner, we've turned up, played really well. So hopefully we can do it one more time.
Why do you think he's leaving the club? I'm trying to work it out myself. Because he must realise that
wasn't
Palace
guaranteed. I mean, they got rid of the best players and they didn't replace them. And he'd won trophies, and they still hadn't got that right. Would that be it, Ollie? Would you think he was frustrated with how the club has been run?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he basically did exactly the same thing when he was at Wolfsburg and Frankfurt. Like, the timelines are very similar in terms of he comes to a club, starts really well, does really well, and then falls out with the board. And he's been obviously very open about the fact that he didn't think we should have sold Eze, didn't think we should have sold Gahey, or at least when we sold them.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling Gabby Agbonlahor is with me. 9:19, Monday, May the 11th. Well, what a blockbuster it was on Saturday night at Co-op Live in Manchester as Daniel Dubois became your new WBO heavyweight champion. Of course, it was live on talkSPORT.
Two men whose fights almost never see the final bell. This isn't a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Don't blink.
Wardley aims a big right hand, whistles over the shoulder. Oh, he's gone down! And Dubois on the canvas.
Both fights loading up. You hear the oohs and the ahs.
Now goes Dubois again for the second time. Great shot from Wardley.
Both fights simultaneously throw the right hand. Both connect. What a war we've got here.
Great shots from Dubois. How is Wardley taking all this?
He's got to stop it. He's got too much heart for his own good. It's going to get dangerous. He's taking a lot of clean shots.
Oh, that's it. That's got to be over.
Buster stopped it. Right hand and two left hands. Wardley is bitterly disappointed, but it's the right decision. And new WBO heavyweight champion of the world, Triple D, Daniel Dynamite Dubois.
Great warrior, man. Love sharing the ring with Fabio. Nobody could ever question him again, ever.
Some fight. Joining us now to give us his take on the contest. It's a very good morning to British heavyweight Richard Riakporhe. Morning, Richard.
Morning, Richard.
Morning, Jeff and Gary. How are you doing?
Yeah,
Morning,
good,
mate.
thanks, mate. Hey, I tell you what, having come up from cruiserweight to heavyweight yourself, watching that, whoa! I'm not sure how it makes you feel. Does it make you realise just how tough it is?
Yeah, and it also makes me really excited. I feel like heavyweight boxing right now is where it's at. It's where it's at, and plus, it's all in Britain. All of the best fighters in the world, in my opinion, are in Britain. And it's just amazing to be a part of that crop now, and my name being mentioned in all these potential matchups.
Richard, I'm not a boxing expert, but watching the fight with friends, no one was defending themselves, was there? I mean, it was literally just like, who's going to take the most punches wins the fight.
Yeah, that's one thing I know straight away. If you watch that fight back, Fabio landed a big, huge haymaker with a right hand. And after that, you could see throughout the whole fight, he was just trying to land that shot again. So he didn't even change even the trajectory of that shot or kind of just set up. He stopped throwing the jab. So it was literally just a shootout from maybe round 2, round 3. And, fair play to Daniel Dubois because he started to use the jab. He kept it nice and simple, using his footwork and just being patient and just keeping it nice and sweet, nice and cute. And, he came off with a victory.
What did you think, Richard, about this? His corner, Fabio Wardley? Should they have stopped it earlier? Or as boxers, do you say before the fight, do not stop this? Because he took some punishment. There was one round where his legs were giving way as walking out for the start of the round. I thought he took probably too much. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I agree. I think he took too much punishment. I remember watching a fight, and I think it got to round 8, 9, and I was just shouting at the screen, stop the fight, stop the fight, stop the fight. But you have to bear in mind, with Ben Davidson, everybody's giving him a lot of, he's getting a lot of slack right now. But, he understands his fire more than anybody else. He's seen things that we haven't seen. He's with him day in, day out. And he's done the same in other fights. He's let Fabio stay in there, for example, against Justice Huni, and he managed to pull off the victory. If he threw the towel in, we wouldn't have been able to see him, win that fight to even get to the position that he's in. So it's so difficult with these type of situations to just criticize him for this fight in particular, because he's seen his man do this. He's put the man down twice, which, shows everybody that he can actually win it with a shot. He didn't stop throwing punches. So it's difficult.
Yeah, on to you now, mate. I've watched your rise from cruiserweight, obviously, to heavyweight, your last couple of fights, especially your last one. I thought you were unstoppable. When you watched that on the weekend, are you licking your lips and like, I want some of that, I want some of that, I want to be in there?
Absolutely. I'm just more hungry than ever.
Yeah.
And I've seen so many opportunities on how I would deal with a person like Daniel Dubois, and I give myself all the chances, to win that type of fight. I just see myself, just knocking out these guys and becoming the heavyweight champion in the future for sure.
How far in the future are we looking, Richard?
Very soon. I'm trying to get in the ring for a world title fight within the next 12 months.
Wow. So when you look at that fight on the weekend as well, and Daniel Dubois has been questioned, hasn't he? And when he took that knee, and was it the first round or second round on the weekend, I was thinking, oh, not again. But he did prove everyone wrong, didn't he, with the heart he showed in the fight?
Yeah, for sure. When I saw that, when he went down on the knee, I started to just have a look at him. But, when you watch his fights back, even when you watch the Kevin Lorena fight, he went down on the knee a few times as well. But he ended up winning the fight. And sometimes, you have to analyze it. It's actually very intelligent.
Yeah.
He's actually very intelligent, give himself time to get up, regroup. And he got up and he was actually even more calm than he was prior to the knockdown. I think it's just very strategic. You have to bear in mind, with a person of him, like with that type of knockout ratio, he's not trying to win the fight on points anyway. So yeah, he can go down on a knee, regroup, and get back up and just carry on working and, finding his way in the fight. As long as he can have that minute to just collect himself.
Look, big favourite of ours, Dave Allen, fighting at the weekend. Again, takes on Filip Hrgović. It's live on talkSPORT. How do you see that one going, Richard?
You know what's weird? I just have a feeling that Dave Allen can do this. I'm leaning towards Dave Allen, which is kind of it's kind of crazy when you think about, you know, just assessing Dave Allen's career, but you have to have a look at Hrgovic's career as well. You know, just kind of analyze it. You know, there's opportunities there, and we all saw that with Adelaide as well. So, and he's definitely got the punch. He can take a shot. You know, I think he can do it.
Richard, there's talk there might be a rematch, Wardley-Dubois, so you probably won't get that fight next. What realistically would be your next fight? Is there anyone that you're looking at and saying, like, I want a piece of you right now?
If you were to give him, if I was managing Fabio, I would not try to jump in the ring for another probably 9 months.
Yes,
I think he needs a long break. He needs to rest his body 100% after that type of that damage he's taken. I would say we have to sit down with the team. I think we're due to have a meeting in the next week or so, and we're going to see what opportunities are available there. We're trying to get out like in the next few months, and then towards the end of the year with a big fight.
I look at Wardley though, and I'm watching the fight, Richard, and I'm like, looks like you could hit him with a baseball bat and he'd still be stood up. I mean, the punishment he was taking, and he just wouldn't go down, would he?
He wouldn't go down, and I think I've got a new nickname for him. I think he's called the Iron Man now.
Yes.
Iron Man Woodley.
Yeah. Deserves a lot of credit, doesn't he?
He really does.
Yeah.
He really does. And, you know, big props to his team. And you know what? I want to give a shout out to Don Charles. Nobody talks about Don Charles a lot. Everybody's talking about everything that went wrong and everything that his corner should have done. But Don Charles, he's the man. I think he needs to get his praise. He needs to get his flowers. What he's done, the belief that he's had in Daniel Dubois as a fighter, and his strategy. You know,
during the fight, didn't he? That double slap to the cheeks. I was like, woo.
Yeah, that was like a quick 2-piece. I was like, yeah, he could have got knocked out himself with that.
That's what I was thinking.
Richard,
yeah.
Thanks for joining us, Richard. Best luck in the future,
yes,
mate.
Good luck, mate.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Got a text.
Orderman slaps him twice.
Yeah,
bro, literally, I say, "Go and finish him."
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I saw a lot of stuff from Don before the fight, yes. You know, and you wonder whether someone was to hype it up, saying, you know, Wardley's not been in with the same sort of opponents as we have. But hey, look, he proved right in the end, didn't he? So Gary in Inverurie says, "Good morning, Jeff. Happy Gothenburg Day. It's 43 years to the day since Aberdeen beat Real Madrid to win the European Cup Winners' Cup."
Incredible.
Wow, it certainly was. After extra time, I think I'm right in saying, Sir Alex Ferguson against Alfredo Di Stefano as the two coaches. Wow. A brilliant day in Aberdeen's history. Coming up, we turn our attention to the managerial changes we might see this summer, and in particular to Kieran McKenna's future.
To join Arsenal was the biggest achievement in my career, but the way the things end up was a little bit not nasty. But at the end of the day, I'm happy. They are happy. They know, you know what, life goes on. If you ask me if I regret, I don't regret. But I'm happy also giving them something back, because at the end of the day, if I can't represent and defend my parents, I don't know who would do it for me. So it's kind of doing my job.
You're spot on, Emmanuel. I don't blame you at all. I would have done the same, mate.
Thank you.
Looking at the title race, Manchester City messing up against Everton. How do you think it's going to go? Who do you think will win it in the end?
Who do I think will win it? If you ask me today, I will still tell you that I think Man City will win it, but I would like Arsenal to win it because it has been over a decade. They have been fighting for that even when I was there. We were fighting for it. Obviously, in April, then sometime in March and April, it's all over, and we drop points at Wigan, at Bolton, wherever you can call it. Then we saw the league sliding out of our hand. But this year they're doing quite well, and the good thing is that defensively they are very good. But now they have to win the last 3 games to win the league. And obviously, Man City again dropping points at Everton. They will come back stronger. They will manage with their manager, with the players, with the experienced team they had. They will do everything possible to win the last 3 games and wait for Arsenal to
Good morning, 9:34. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. It is the perfect time to upgrade your car. Get 2 years free servicing when you buy a used car in the upgrade event. Check it out online. I'm Jeff Stelling Gabby Agbonlahor is with me. There's only been one real talking point this morning, and unfortunately, it's not the football. VAR yet again taking centre stage to rule out West Ham's goal against Arsenal. Former Premier League referee Chris Foy said this a bit earlier about the decision.
I think that we talk about this material impact on the goalkeeper. I mean, I don't see a corner kick taken in any game now where there isn't some form of physical contact. But when you've got that clear situation on the goalkeeper where he's not allowed to jump, his arm, Pablo's arms across his chest, he's grabbing his arm, he can't get to the ball.
Yeah, I mean, the obvious thing, Chris, was, I accept that, but the obvious thing was quite clearly the Trossard incident on Pablo wasn't after Raya was fouled because it was before Pablo had got to Raya at all. So it preceded it, And it seems like, you boys from the PGMOL, get your heads together to tell us precisely the story which you want to believe. It's like propaganda.
I wouldn't say it's propaganda, Jeff. I think what you've got to deal with is the clear act of holding on the goalkeeper. Where, I mean, it's detecting that major incident that occurred in that situation, and that's the one on the goalkeeper.
Well, the latest edition of the Premier League All Access podcast with Sam Matterface and Alex Crook is now out, and they've delved into this. They've delved into the decision just moments after the final whistle.
50% of the people who are messaging me are saying it's a foul. 50% of the people are saying it's not a foul. Now, that tells me it's not a clear and obvious error because nobody really knows definitively, or there's certainly a split opinion, and therefore the on-field decision.
In the context of the game, and I bemoaned this actually in the build-up to the end of the match, I was moaning about the fact that they were giving far too many soft fouls and that football in general had become a non-contact sport. In the context of that, that probably is a foul.
Yeah. If you're being consistent.
If you're being consistent over the whole piece, that probably is a foul. I'm not convinced in any way, shape or form that it is. I'm not convinced that it isn't on the basis of the rules that they are interpreted in the manner in which they are now. But at the same time, it's that threshold of, is it a clear and obvious error that requires a VAR intervention?
It just isn't an answer to this, is that, Martin has texted and said, had the referee seen the Trossard foul and given a penalty in real time, would VAR have overturned it? No, they wouldn't, as it's a foul. Nonsense from the referees. The one thing that it depresses me that we just talk about VAR all the time rather than the game, rather than that brilliant David Raya save,
Yeah. I feel like, Jeff, what should have happened was goal line technology. That's it.
Yeah.
VAR didn't need it. Listen, the referee had the perfect view in this incident, the perfect view. Refs look at the goalkeepers always. They'll miss maybe someone pulling behind them, but their eyes were on the goalkeeper. He saw it live. He's in there. And he didn't think it was a foul. Then once he gets sent over to the screen, the pressure on him then, but getting him told in his ear, yeah, I think it's a foul. He's going to change his mind, isn't he?
Yeah. Liam's text, he said, don't understand why everyone has an agenda against Arsenal. VAR made the right decision. Liam, no one's got an agenda against Arsenal. It just so happens that your team were at the centre of a major talking point at the weekend. And we've given plenty of Arsenal fans their voice, saying that they believe it was a goal and should have stood. We've had Piers Morgan, we've had Perry Groves, all putting the Arsenal perspective. So there's no agenda. It's only fair that an issue like this gets an airing and that both sides are heard, which is hopefully what's happened. Anyway, look, hear that podcast in full, by the way. Get your ultimate weekend debrief of all the action. Just search for Premier League All Access on your favourite podcast provider or watch on the talkSPORT YouTube channel. One club who have all this VAR drama to look forward to next season, they didn't have it this, Ipswich Town after their promotion. But there are stories in the media today that Kieran McKenna, who's guided Ipswich to 3 promotions in the last 4 years, may not be there next season. talkSPORT understands McKenna has a release clause which is somewhere between £5 and £8 million. Would you understand if Kieran McKenna, having got Ipswich promoted, jump shipped now, Gabby? And if so, where to?
I think I look at it, Jeff, and listen, very talented manager, but he's not Premier League proven. Last season he come up with Ipswich, spent a decent amount of money, didn't work out. Got them promoted again. I don't see him going to a Premier League club now that is better than Ipswich. I just don't see it. Maybe I'm missing something. I think he's very talented on what he's done at Ipswich, but he's not had a great Premier League career as a manager, has he?
But, I'm thinking from his perspective now, maybe he's looking at Scotty Parker, taking Burnley up, and what's happened?
Exactly.
He lost his job.
Yes. But but maybe he's looking at it as well, like, I've done it last year, spent a decent amount of money, didn't work out. Got Ipswich back up. He's probably thinking, is the squad strong enough? Maybe he knows what money he's got to spend this time, Jeff. Maybe he doesn't get as much as he did 2 years ago when they got promoted. And if a bigger club comes available, maybe he does take it with a better squad already. Because Fulham are going to be maybe without a manager, Marco Silva. There's talk that he might not sign his new contract. So there's different clubs in the Premier League that are looking for a manager.
Yeah, and there's an interesting point because we were tossing over where he might go. And you do wonder, Marco Silva out of contract at the end of this season. Would Marco Silva be a good fit for a club just down the road in Chelsea?
I said this, Jeff.
Yeah, and Kieran McKenna being a sort of relatively obvious replacement for him.
I actually said this exactly, and I was getting Chelsea fans saying, how dare you? I'm saying to myself, Marco Silva is the perfect character that these big-time Charlies at Chelsea need. You know, the way they've got rid of Rosinha, they'll do it to a soft manager that comes in. They need a hard-hitting manager. Marco Silva doesn't take any nonsense, Jeff. We've seen him on that sideline, similar to Antonio Conte sort of style. He will go into that football club Chelsea pre-season, sort them out. Who's on side? Who's going to work hard? Who's going to follow runners? Who's going to run? How many games this season have Chelsea been outrun? That's incredible. That's the most embarrassing stat for a manager if your team aren't running. Because when I was finishing football, Jeff, players were being played because they could run more than players that were probably technically better. So just to see that from Chelsea, they need a hard manager like Marco Silva going in there
with self-belief. Where do you think Iraiola's going to end up at?
I think for him to leave Bournemouth, Alex Crook said a few weeks ago that Bournemouth offered him a record salary. I think more than any player, Jeff, as well. For him to turn that down, I see that it's personal reasons. You know, does he have to go back to his home country for personal reasons? I don't see him turning Bournemouth down to go to a Crystal Palace or something. Or are Chelsea lining him up as well? Just look at the finances of Chelsea.
So it begs the question, what's going to happen at Palace?
Exactly, who are Palace getting in?
Yeah.
There's so many Premier League teams now that are going to be looking for a manager. So maybe if you're Kieran McKenna, you're looking at it and keeping your options open.
Yeah.
And maybe he does move to a bigger club than Ipswich. But Marco Silva, I just think it's a no-brainer, Jeff. You know, I don't see Fabregas. I think he'll stay at Como. I just think just get someone tough in there. These players, these Cucurella, Enzo Fernandez flirting with other clubs. Marco Silva won't have that.
Yeah. Just one, we haven't touched on Newcastle at all today. Yeah. I still feel that all is not well in Newcastle, despite the draw the weekend, and no sign of Anthony Gordon again in the lineup.
I think Gordon's leaving. And what I like about Eddie Howe is that if players are showing that they maybe don't want to be at the club or they're not working hard in training, he got asked a couple of weeks ago, why is Voltemada, why is Wissa, why are these new signings not starting? He says, I'm picking players who train the best. But I've got a funny feeling, Jeff, that is this where, end of the season, Eddie Howe wants to change? Eddie Howe wants to go and try a different job. Maybe wants a little break, 4 or 5 months, and maybe he's looking at a different challenge. So maybe it suits both parties at the end of the season. Shake hands. He goes down as a legend for Newcastle, and you move on.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the stories were coming out after the meeting with PIF a couple of weeks ago that Eddie would be staying, but he doesn't look happy. I mean, he just doesn't look happy at the moment. You do wonder what would happen if Newcastle were, to lose their last 2 games.
Livramento, not signing a new contract. He's probably looking to get out. Tonali might move. Lewis Hall hasn't played as much in recent weeks. Something's happened there where he's dropped him as well. There's a lot going on there. And you're right, Jeff. Doesn't look like he's happy there.
Yeah, he doesn't. Stephen says, everyone's forgetting, this is back to Arsenal, about the time when Declan Rice got sent off for kicking the ball away at the start of the season before last. Well, not forgetting. It's just not relevant to this conversation at all, is it, Steve? Robbie says, I'm a West Ham fan. We shouldn't be letting VAR decide our fate. We've not been good enough yet. Completely concur with that, Robbie, although I do think they've improved a lot under Nuno in recent times. Jill says, some you get, some you don't. Firm believer it's a rubbish system, but you have to take the ones you get and accept you don't get the others. It's done, and we got it this time onwards and upwards. Well said, Jill. And finally, Trevor the Trucker says, I think the only way to deal with VAR controversies is for the VAR not getting involved unless the on-field referee requests assistance.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
I do too.
I've seen it. I'm okay with it. Don't look at it. I've got a perfect view of it.
Yeah. Oh, but if he hasn't got a great view of it, ask the VAR.
Exactly.
Quick call. All this football officiating. Let's celebrate Arsenal for a moment. They've all but sealed the title. Kurt's an Arsenal fan. Morning, Kurt.
Morning, Kurt.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Gabby. How's it going, guys?
Yeah, good, mate. So you're almost there. How do you feel?
Oh, do you know what? I'm ecstatic. I've had so much faith, probably more faith than most Arsenal fans out there. Unfortunately, I think the negativity around our club in the media has got to our fan base a little bit and caused our own fans to lose a little bit of belief. But hopefully those fans who were doubting us are starting to believe now.
Yeah, well, you should be believing now, you know. I think 6-point finish, big celebration, and then you've got a Champions League final as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun run. I mean, with the Premier League, I think it really is in our hands now. I can't see us giving it away with our remaining fixtures, especially Burnley at home next Monday night, which I will be going to.
Yeah, I feel as well. Man City will drop points. I really believe it. Bournemouth away. Irio's last game, home game of the season, and they're fighting for Champions League. That's a tough game for Man City.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. If obviously Aston Villa go and win the Europa League final, doesn't that open
sixth place?
Yeah. So Bournemouth have got it all to fight for.
Because Brighton have got 2 winnable games behind them as well, so they know they probably need 2 wins. Bournemouth.
Yeah, Brighton have been in great form as well. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. But guys, I've got to tell you, and I know you guys have probably already been told, but a lot of rival fans listening to this are going to think I'm crazy. I actually, a few weeks ago, had Mikel Arteta's face tattooed on my forearm.
No,
I don't believe you.
I really have. It's on my TikTok page. I don't know if I'm allowed to say the name of it, am I?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Yeah, so if for anyone listening, it's called Arsenal.overflow. And yeah, you'll find it on TikTok. It's pinned at the top of my profile. I had Mikel Arteta's face tattooed alongside Thierry Henry and Emirates Stadium in the background because I do believe in this man. I do believe he is the one that's going to get us over that line, get us the trophies. And once these come in this season, I think we're just going to keep on going. Then I think the next couple of seasons we'll continue winning a lot more silverware.
Kurt, well said. Thank you very much indeed for the call.
Nice one, guys. Cheers.
David Bolton says, come on, Jeff. Can't we have a shout-out for Rochdale? Well, coming up, we'll turn our attention to Rochdale, who'll be in the Football League next season with their manager, Jimmy McNulty.
Let's not worry about other teams. I'm sorry, West Ham, not our problem. Okay, you lost 3-0 to Brentford. You've got 3 games. Go and beat Arsenal on the weekend. Do it yourself. Aston Villa, worry about Aston Villa. And the players, they took it easy. My daughter was there in the whole end. She's like, Dad, why is everyone walking? It was walking football from Aston Villa. But then when you see a performance like that, where they've put in 100% every player, you don't care about that. Up the Villa!
Up the Villa!
Up the Villa! Istanbul!
Do you want the hands mask? Put the hands mask on.
Gabby's putting the hands mask on.
Up the Villa! Up the Villa! Up the European Villa! Istanbul! Istanbul! Let's go! Let's go, baby! Boys,
do as anyone see. Do as anyone see.
Yeah. Go on, Gabby.
Let's set it up for Gabby.
Sorry. Has anyone seen Maximus Scott? Where are you, Max? We need some news. Robin Hood, the Prince of Thieves, Sherwood Forest, Friar Tuck. Where are you, Friar? The original boots chemist. Hooters. Is Hooters closed? I used to open Hooters. Close Hooters. Shut it down. Matt Ford, do us a favour, mate. Stuart Broad, where are you? Chris Wokes, better player. Where are you? Tricky Trees. Rock City. HB Sauce, where are you? Notts Forest.
And Big H Mark has killed me. The Big H Mark has killed me.
morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling Gabby Agbonlahor is with me. Quick reminder, if you fancy 25 grand in your hand, completely tax-free. talkSPORT, our competitions have just got a whole lot bigger, even more prizes up for grabs to give you that winning feeling. So head to talksportwin.com to enter and for full T's and C's. So 106 points, the most dramatic final day shootout ever in the National League. And now Rochdale's place in next season's EFL decided via the playoffs. At Wembley yesterday, they found themselves 2-0 down against Boreham Wood. But they managed to take the game to extra time. I think it was a 97th minute equaliser from Annie Disruwe. And Jimmy McNulty's boys held their nerve in a penalty shootout. So they'll play in League Two next season. I'm delighted to say that Rochdale manager Jimmy McNulty joins us now. Morning, Jimmy.
Morning, Jimmy.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Gabby. All right, fellas?
Yeah, we're fine. Are you a bit fragile?
Slightly delicate, guys. Yeah, slightly delicate. Amazing day and evening.
Oh, brilliant. What were you thinking when you're 2-0 down with 12 minutes left?
Oh, Jeff, you're not going to believe me. But I told you a week ago when you asked me late in the York game, late in the Braintree game, and your man, I do apologise for taking him from your beloved Pools, but Manny Disruwe, when he's on the pitch, yeah, I still believe, Jeff, if we could get one goal, I thought, we've been the team that's done it this way all season. And if we get one, we'll be there. And yeah, we got one, and that was the turning point.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And your keeper was great in the penalty shootout.
Oh, Jeff, he was amazing. Singing from the hilltops about his performance throughout the season, really. And yeah, so grateful for Man City for allowing us to have one of the, prized young assets. But we had to take some risk ourselves, or, some would say, in taking him at 17 years old. But he's gone on to be the National League goalkeeper of the season. And yeah, he was amazing yesterday, relished it, incredible performance.
Jimmy, the most important question I've got is, what were the celebrations like last night, and what are they going forward? I loved a nice party, mate.
Oh, Gab, yeah. Last night was amazing. It was probably attempted to be hampered by the fact that it was a Sunday night, but you'll know from your time, football teams can always find a party somewhere. And all we needed was ourselves, a room, a speaker.
Amazing.
And enough alcohol, of course. Yeah, it's amazing.
Some job to lift them, Jimmy, after the disappointment of the last day.
Yeah, apparently so, Jeff. Yeah, and that was the narrative, wasn't it? We spoke last week about national media saying psychologically it was impossible. It was over. But yeah, we just never really felt that way. We were riding high from the level of performance this season, and we finished second place in a way that not many people ever have. And yeah, we just thought it wasn't over for us, and thankfully it wasn't.
No, absolutely brilliant, and you deserve to go up 106 points. I hope that now you're an EFL team. I hope you're still going to vote for 3 up, 3 down if it ever comes to that.
100%, Jeff. The moral compass has to remain in the same place. It's a footballing injustice.
Yeah.
Some football justice was done yesterday, in my opinion, with us, reaching the EFL. But my thoughts are still the same in that regard.
Yeah, I want to mention one of their players just briefly, Abdul Malik. What a player he is! What a footballer he is! Absolutely fantastic. But look, Jimmy, you're going to have a busy summer now, planning for return to life in the EFL, and so many teams who go up from the National League make a really good fist of it. How confident are you that you can do just that?
Very much so, Jeff. I said to you previously, I think you have to build the club to a level that's almost beyond what it needs to be to get it National League and get yourself into League Two. I've got great belief in our ability to go and have a brilliant season, return to the EFL next season with this group.
And will you be able to keep most of the squad together? Will you have the funding to add to it, Jimmy, or is it all that in the future?
That's very much up in the air, Jeff. Other than answering the yes, I will have most of this squad with us. Fortunately, we've been proactive in that regard and contracting a lot of our players for that part. Yes, but the others. I don't know. We'll see. Once alcohol leaves the system, we'll all talk formally and try to sort that stuff out.
Brilliant.
Congratulations, mate.
Yeah, well done, mate. What's next for you? You're going to get a bit of a holiday?
Yeah, Jeff, I need it. Definitely need it. Some further celebrations in the coming days, I think, are being, frantically arranged now. We'll get them out the way and then, leave this country for a little while.
Fantastic. Well, look, Jimmy, well done.
For you, mate.
Yeah, we really are. But that Dizarouve, he'll never score goals in League Two. Maybe he should go back to a National League club like Hartlepool, eh? Well done, mate.
Best of luck next season for the Pools.
Yeah, and to you, Jimmy. Be looking out for you, mate. Well done.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Fantastic. I'm very, very pleased for them. Proper football club.
After what they've been through as well, losing like that.
Yeah, and he plays it down. He plays it down, but done a brilliant job to lift them back.
Of course, 100%.
Last word on VAR in the
get rid of it.
Tez in Telford says, not one Premier League club came alongside Wolverhampton Wanderers when they tried to get VAR sorted. They're all moaning about it now. Tough. Yeah. Take your point, Tez.
It's annoying, Jeff, as well. When you celebrate a goal, what if Callum Wilson ran to the bench, got a shirt, ran around the ground, celebrated? Oh, no, it's not been given.
Yeah.
The joy's gone.
The joy, for me, it's taken a lot of the joy out of the game. That is for sure. And so too has the inability of the PGMOL to clamp down on obvious offences inside the box. And I mean grappling,